Polish racer Janusz Kowodze took the top step in Prague as winner of round 3 of this year's FIM Speedway World Championship. It was the first ever Grand Prix victory for the Pole, and at 35 years of age underlined the class that has taken him previously to 3 Polish championships. The night had action aplenty as our 16 riders did battle on the track to reach the latter stages and a grand final. Denmark's Leon Madsen alongside Australia's Jason Doyle qualified from semi-final 1, but only after this dramatic move on the back straight on Max Frick will the drama continue into semi-final 2. Janusz Kowodze in yellow led after turn 2 with informed Emil Seyfedin off a close second. As the race entered the last lap, the likeable Russian's bike packed up, much to his anger and frustration, leaving Poland's Patryk Dudek to take second and a place in the final. From the start, Kowodze in white from gate 3 held off initially Dudek in red before he lost second place to Madsen in blue at the start of lap 2. Doyle would be watching fourth as the places stayed the same until the checkered flag. So the night belonged to an elated Janusz Kowodze, a man competing in his first full SGP season since 2011.
I am so happy. This is my first time in GP in the first, and I can't believe it now.
So Poland's Patryk Dudek and Denmark's Leon Madsen both have 40 points at the top of the World Championship, but Dudek leads based on his world ranking over Madsen. Bartosz Marszlik is a further 4 points behind in third, and Freddie Lindgren is fourth on 32. Despite the disappointment of Prague, Seyfedin with 30 points is still very much in the hunt for the world title.
I have a chance to get the final, but it's broken chain, so didn't get. So it's nothing happened, it's just 10 points, to the leader. So hopefully, I can do that, and I can fight, for the world champion title.
So the championship travels north to Sweden for round 4 in the HS Big Arena, Hallstavik, Sweden. The venue hosted its first ever race in 2018 when Poland's Maciej Janowski beat the home favourite Freddie Lindgren in the final. Lindgren flies the flag again tonight alongside Antonio Lindback and wildcard Oliver Berntsson as their home fans all hope for a Swedish winner.
Yeah, I can only speak for myself and do the best that I can, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. Hopefully I will make the crowd cheer.
We are live from Hallstavik in Sweden for the Norwell Swedish FIM Speedway Grand Prix, where qualifying last night was postponed as a precautionary measure because of the rain that had fallen down. Even though there were covers, there was a little bit concern about the track, and there was an open draw to establish the 1 to 16 riding order. It's a Norwell Swedish FIM Speedway Grand Prix live from the HZ Big Arena here in Hallstavik. A lovely sunny evening, thank goodness. A good crowd in the stadium as well tonight. It's round 4 of the FIM World Speedway Championship. We have 10 rounds in total. Kelvin Tatum MBE alongside me, and Kelvin, the World Championship level pegging between Dudek and Madsen at the top, Marszlik not too far behind, and the Swede Freddie Lindgren as well. What are your thoughts?
Well, we're bathed in sunshine, which is good news. The weather yesterday really just washed it all out, which was bitterly disappointing. But as you rightly say, we have a healthy crowd in, and track conditions look nigh on perfect. And I think we're in for a thriller tonight. This is a permanent track, of course. They've made a lot of effort at this stadium. It's improving year on year. And the riders know it very well because they all ride in the Elite League here in Sweden. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it very much.
Yes, and there was a bit of a concern about an hour or so ago with a dark cloud behind the stand where we're sat in our commentary position, but the sun is shining.
Yeah, it is. And, of course, the riders didn't practice yesterday, so there will be 1 or 2 practice starts, and riders just trying to make sure that they've made the right choice with their equipment. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. We can keep an eye on the transponder numbers throughout the evening, of course, but heat number 1 not too far away, and of course we've got the main man, of course, Freddie Lindgren coming out of gate 2 in the opening race. Second place here last year, 12 months ago. We'll be looking to delight the home crowd, of course, by managing to win tonight. But a big performance from Freddie. I'm sure he'll be keen to get it underway.
Yeah, it's a nervous time for these riders. Niels Christian Iversen has already jumped on another bike as the riders take to the track for the first time. And there is 1 minute of the time allowance remaining for the riders to be up at tapes, ready for the green light to go on. Heat number 1 then is on the way. Hi there, yes, the Normal Swedish FIM Speedway Grand Prix, bathed in sunshine here in Hallstavik, the home of Rospigana in the Swedish League. And this man off the inside, Jason Doyle, rides for Rospigana, so knows this track inside out. Freddie Lindgren, who had a good GP here last year, the Swede off gate 2. Niels Christian Iversen has just jumped off one bike and onto another, and he's unsure about the best bike to go with. He's off gate 3 here. And Emil Sayfutdinov, the Russian rocket, going off the outside, who suffered that drop chain in Prague in the last round, where he was so frustrated to miss out. Kelvin Tatum alongside me as ever here. Great conditions, Kelvin. You've had a look at the track.
Yes, it looks in good order. There's a bit of grip on the start line, I've got to say. They gripped that up. Fairly slick for the remainder, but that's because they pounded it down. But it will develop as the evening goes on.
Here we go, first race of the night then, and away from the start. Doyle is at the front from the inside gate. Watch out for Sayfutdinov now around the outside. And now as well, the man in white challenging hard. That is Iversen. Lindgren, somewhat surprisingly, is at the back, but that was a lovely move from Emil Sayfutdinov in the yellow helmet colour. And Doyle closing that door on Lindgren, charging hard, but Doyle has just squared up there in the turn as well. Lindgren battling hard at the back, but Sayfutdinov with a really clever move there, Kel.
Yeah, just allowed the bike to run wide. It was greasy on the inside there. You saw Jason Doyle almost turn the bike inside out. And Iversen was also able to get himself through into second place. Freddie Lindgren got squeezed on the run to the first turn. Sayfutdinov is away, looking very fast indeed. Desperate to make the final tonight after the bitter disappointment of the chain breaking, of course, in Prague when he was set for the final. Looking good, Sayfutdinov here.
Yeah, Emil going to take the checkered flag. Started the night 10 points off the lead in the World Championship. Emil Sayfutdinov takes the checkered flag a couple of weeks to go before the boys head out to Russia, of course, for the Monster Energy FIM Speedway of Nations. That's over 2 days on the Saturday and the Sunday. First round, 2 weeks tonight. And Emil off to a superb start, swept across from the outside gate beautifully, and pulled off a fine move there in the end. And Niels Christian Iversen getting second spot in that first race of the night. So Sayfutdinov, Iversen and Jason Doyle third. Freddie Lindgren at the back, but of course each rider has 5 rides to try and qualify for the semi-finals, and a long way to go for these riders, but Sayfutdinov superb.
Yeah, it'd be chuffed to bits with that. We'll watch it again. Initially Jason Doyle gets there from the inside, but he just spins up there. Look, the bike almost turned inside out. Sayfutdinov took the chance to run high and wide. Not quite as much water on the track there, and it gripped. The tyre gripped nicely in the middle of the corner. You see there, he's just going for a slightly drier part of the track, and it works a treat. Iversen then follows him through. Jason Doyle, actually a home rider, caught out by conditions here in heat number 1. No question about that. Freddie Lindgren also very nearly running in the side of Jason at the end of the first lap. But this man, the Russian rocket, riding like a rocket in heat number 1. Bit of dust flying up there on the outside, but more grip there in the opening race. 3 big points from the outside gate for Sayfutdinov in heat number 1.
Yeah, good ride, and he moves on now to 33 SGP points. And we remind you that Dudek and Madsen lead the series on 40 points apiece, and Madsen is going off the outside gate tonight in heat number 2. And Janis Kawadze, who won the previous round in Prague, he's in this one as well. Robert Lambert, the British youngster, he goes off the inside gate, and that is in the red helmet, of course. He'll ride on Friday night as well in Manchester for Great Britain under-21s in the World Under-21 Team Cup final in Manchester next Friday night. That'll be a belter against Sweden, Australia and Denmark. And then it's Kawadze off gate 2, Matseyanovsky off 3, winner last year here, and Madsen off the outside. Our British viewers, by the way, can see Lambert in action on Monday night when we go to his home track, Kings Lynn, against Poole in the British Premiership.
Yeah, looking very forward to that, but I'm looking forward to seeing him here, of course. And Leon Madsen, who's in championship winning form with a first, second and third so far this year. The first 3 Grand Prix, he has been a sensation so far.
Oh, Kawadze had an absolute Jim getaway there. The red lights are flashing, so I'm pretty sure Kawadze just had a little nibble there, and it's the first unsatisfactory start of the night. Jesper Steentoft, our referee, calling them back, and to be fair, straight on the button, Kelf.
Yeah, no hesitation from Jesper Steentoft, and quite clearly feels that he gained an advantage. Let's watch it again. I was keeping my eyes on Madsen initially, but moved just a fraction early there, didn't he? And then gained an advantage, so you can't get away with those that type of start these days. Riders back at the pit gate, just having a few tweaks to the equipment. It's very greasy on the inside in that first corner. I noticed even though Kolodje made a good start, he didn't clamp to the inside at all. He allowed the bike immediately to go up the bank, and clearly see him moving early there and gaining an advantage. That's why the red light has come on. Big evening for Robert Lambert here. He's in, of course, as a replacement and for Ty Woofenden tonight. And we wish Ty all the very best. Of course, he's recovering from the back injury. But Robert is, has just been released by the club here, in actual fact, so I'm sure he's determined to put a big performance in tonight.
Just to confirm for you, by the way, we are hearing that Janis Kolodje has been given a warning there for that move at the start. And we await the 2-minute time allowance to go on for the restart, with the riders back over by the pit gate here at the Rospigana track in Halstavik. Quite a nice part of the world here, and certainly looking forward to heat number 2 for the second time of asking. But the series itself, very tight, and certainly an exciting series so far, Kelv.
Indeed it has been. As I said earlier, Leon Madsen, who's in this race, has been terrific in his season so far. 3 finals, a win, a second and a third. Not bad at all. Patrick Dudek, also on 40 World Championship points, is going very nicely as well. Got to say, Smarslik a little up and down, but only 4 points out of the lead, so he is a rider that, of course, came so close last year, but certainly a lot of people's favourite now that Ty is not in the championship. A lot of people talking about potentially Smarslik winning his first championship, but Leon Madsen, well, so far the confidence is high, riding out of his skin this season so far. Based in Poland these days, rides in the Extraliga for Czestochowa, just signed a big 3-year extension to his contract there, so yeah, they certainly a fan favourite in that part of the world. He's going from gate 4, and you know he's going to give it everything.
Yes, and of course the Danish Grand Prix returns to Vojens this year in September. There'll be plenty of support for Leon Madsen and Niels Christian Iversen that night at the iconic Vojens circuit. It's Robert Lambert off the inside here. Janis Kolodje on a warning. Comes off gate 2 in blue. Then it's Matsej Janowski going off gate 3 in white. Winner last year here, as we said. And Leon Madsen, the joint leader of the series, going off the outside in yellow. And Madsen has come out of his shell as an individual as well, Carl, since I knew him from his days at Poole.
Yes.
You know, he's a real live wire character now, isn't he?
Total transformation. I knew him when he was riding to Poole. He was kept himself to himself very much, but now these days he's great with the media. He's talking to a lot of people. He's got Hans Nielsen, of course, the Danish team manager, in his corner working with him as well. So there's no doubt that he's made a terrific start. Can he keep it going? I'm sure he believes he can. Kolodje out of gate 2 was a spectacular winner in Prague just a few weeks ago, and Janowski needs to get going. It's been a slow start for him.
Janowski was only up at takes with 1 second to spare there.
Well, lucky.
1 second. Lambert's made a good start. Now sweeping around the outside. Watch out for Janowski in the drive, and charging up the inside is Leon Madsen. Lambert has to get off the gas going into turn 3. Madsen now charges up the inside, closes the door.
He's done it.
Great ride from Leon Madsen. Janowski is second. He's going to try the inside cut now, but Madsen holds the line, and it's Robert Lambert in third place.
Once again, the speed of Leon Madsen was there, demonstrated brilliantly on the opening lap. Went round one ride and then straight up the inside of Janowski, and once he's hit the front, he's beginning to pull away. Robert Lambert was a little unfortunate there, made a very good getaway on the inside, but just caught in no man's land coming out of the first corner. Madsen out in front, once again demonstrating good speed. Kolodje tailed off, overtaking at a premium at this early stage. But Leon Madsen dominating the second heat.
Great ride from Madsen, the Dane. Takes the checkered flag, and a reminder tonight is round 4 of 10 in the 2019 FIM Speedway Grand Prix Series. So approaching the halfway point. The series does take a break for the Speedway of Nations, of course.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, it could be a pivotal night tonight, because somebody's looking to emerge from the pack and stamp their authority on the title race, approaching the halfway point. It's Madsen the winner. Mats Sajanovski was in second spot. Robert Lambert made a good start there, but relegated to third. And Janis Kawadze on the warning was at the back there. That's heat number 2, and Madsen delighted.
Yeah, pumped up once again. 3 points to his name, and he won it in style. Didn't make the start, but made his way through the traffic quite nicely on the opening lap. We'll see it here. It's neck and neck as he gets to the first corner with Janovski and Robert Lambert. Lambert allows the bike to go up the banking there, but just gets caught there with one rider going around the outside of him. Just can't quite get enough grip off that first corner to stamp his authority. Leaves the door open as well on the inside. But look at Madsen. Madsen's just able to get the bike working, driving hard off the corner, hits the front and stays there. Janovski has to settle for second place. But this man from Denmark, living in Poland, is really making a big mark on this year's championship chase. And he started in fine style tonight with a big win in his opening ride.
Yeah, good stuff then from Leon Madsen, a live wire character, as we say.
Big smile.
Yeah, very much so, and leads the World Championship now outright by 3 points, with Dudek having a race in hand, but Dudek's in red in the next race here in Halstavik. Heat number 3 it is, and this man in white, Max Frick, who rode beautifully in Prague, the Australian ace, knows this track inside out, and we saw him in brilliant form for the Bellevue Aces on Monday.
Absolutely, and he's a man that certainly is coming of age this season. Max Frick is fully fit, and he's riding out of his skin.
Dudek off the inside then. Gate number 2 is Artem Laguta, another one of the Russian contingent in the SGP this year. Max Frick going off gate number 3. And then it's Mate Zagar off 4, of course. Regular Grand Prix competitors, Greg Hancock and Ty Wolfenden, ruled out tonight, and that is why Robert Lambert and Max Frick are in the meeting.
Big opportunity again for Frick. Frick made the semi-final in Prague and had a hard moment with Leon Madsen down the back straight. No question about that, but Mate Zagar on the outside, he needs a big night.
So he does. Here we go, and going into that first turn, Laguta's made a good start, but so has Dudek on the inside run. Laguta tries the outside now, and here comes Zagar on the inside, but Laguta is there, charges hard at the inside of Patrick Dudek. Frick is the man at the back. Dudek going wide under Zagar. Zagar, good ride, Matty Zagar, and some good speedway creeping in here.
Oh, he's packed up.
Can you believe it?
Laguta, that's desperate for him after a good move in the first corner. Zagar inherits the lead. Dudek pushing hard in second place. Frick, of course, that's a bonus point for him with Laguta out of the race. Got a feel for the Russian there, was looking set for a win. Zagar out in front. I said he needed a big night. This is a bonus out in front. Into the last lap now. Dudek, well, he's chasing hard, but for Zagar, this is a confidence-boosting ride for sure.
Yeah, very much so. It only got 17 GP points before tonight in the 3 rounds previous. But he's going to get a race win under his belt here now. Mate Zagar of Slovenia takes the checkered flag, and that was a good move to get the better of Patrick Dudek like he did.
Wow, you got to feel for Laguta.
You have to feel, you do. What is it with Russians and breakdowns?
Well, last couple of Grand Prix, they've certainly hit Saifutinov at a crucial moment, and there he hit the front, and the bike packed up. I don't quite know what it was. I'm not sure if it's another chain issue, but we may well find out in the fullness of time. But Zagar, well, he'll be pleased as punch to have picked up a win.
Yeah, Zagar the winner with Patrick Dudek second, Max Frick third, Artem Laguta retired, of course. We've had 3 races now here in Halstavik so far, and delight for Zagar. Super ride from the Slovenian rider.
Indeed, we'll see this again. Tapes up, and it's an even break, but Laguta and Dudek there in the first corner. Dudek tries to block, but Laguta reads it nicely, slips up the inside, and Zagar very nearly followed through as well. Watching the back of Artem Laguta going to the first corner. Nice tidy rider these days. He really has become a world-class performer. Down the back straight, and it's tight going into turn 3, but Dudek and Zagar really having a go at it for second and third as well, with Zagar coming through, but from that moment on, they're now waiting just there. Can't quite see what happens to the bike, whether it's a chain or a tyre or it's an engine failure. We're not quite sure, but that man, he inherits the lead, and he'll be really pleased with that, because so far this year, Zagar has had a difficult time in the Grand Prix, and a start with a win, that's a foundation, that's a base to work from there and try and make your way towards the semi-final.
Yep, good ride indeed from Mate Zagar, and heat number 4 is on the way. We have a couple of Swedish riders in the race. The wild card, Oliver Berntsson, Talented young rider is just starting to show his true potential now, Berntsson.
Yeah.
And then Lindback as well off gate number 3, another Swedish rider.
Yeah, Oliver Berntsson's an interesting character because he burst on the scene several years ago and it looked like he was really going to make a lot of progress in a short time, but then has plateaued off. But this season, got to say that he's looking like his old self again. I hope he can have a good night because there's no doubt that the Swedes need a new youngster coming through to, you know, just follow on behind Freddie Lindgren and Antonio Lindback. But Martin Vašilik on the outside here, Nigel. He's looking for a big night.
Yep, it's Smarslik off the inside then, third in the World Championship on 36 points. Oliver Berntsson, the wild card, gate 2. Antonio Lindback, gate 3. And Martin Vašilik going off the outside in yellow, the Slovakian. Here we go, that's a great start from Vašilik from 4. Oh, he made a great getaway there, and he sweeps around Smarslik. Charging hard on the inside for third now is Lindback with Berntsson at the back. But that was a lovely move from Martin Vašilik of Slovakia. And now Smarslik in second under some pressure from Antonio Lindback.
Indeed
Well,
he was. It was, because Oliver Berntson's now got the better of Antonio Lindback. No, he hasn't. Nip and tuck on the back straight. Really close between the Swedes for the solitary point. Great start from Vašilik. Spoke to him briefly on his track book. He said he sorted his issues out with the bike. The motors are working well, and certainly so far he's looking good. But look at Smarslik. Smarslik winding it on round the outside. Such an eye-catching rider. A lap to go. Vašilik probably got it covered. Berntsson and Antonio Lindback having a real scrap for third as well. Good race here, but Vašilik out in front.
Yeah, and Berntsson's come through into third spot.
Good ride.
But it's a good ride here from Martin Vašilik to take the checkered flag. Then it's Smarslik, then it's Berntsson. And that was a lovely move from the young man Oliver Berntsson into third place. But what about Martin Vašilik? That was a textbook getaway from gate number 4. He just nailed it, Kel.
He did a masterclass from Vašilik away from the tapes. If you can get 5 starts like that, then you're going to be looking very good for the latter stages. Vašilik looking terrific, Smarslik pushing hard, and a handy ride from Oliver Berntsson in third.
Yeah, good stuff there in heat number 4 then, and it means our race winners so far are Emil Sayfutinov, Mate Zegar, Martin Vašilik and Leon Madsen. That's 4 races gone here in Hulstavik.
Yeah, this was a good race, and Martin Vašilik starts in fine style. A smashing start from the outside. Keep your eye on him. He comes charging away from the tapes, and he's loving that big sweep round the outside. They're all bunching up behind Smarslik on the inside of the corner, and Smarslik then sets about trying to chase Vašilik down. He did get close. But couldn't quite manage to get to the front. Good battle for third with Oliver Berntsson coming through, getting the better of Antonio Lindback. They're basically shoving him out of the way, in actual fact, down the back straight later in the race. But for Martin Vašilik here, he'll be delighted with this, because Smarslik's no easy man to beat. You know, you've got to race hard right to the checkered flag, and the man from Slovakia does that. So super nice guy. He's in great shape. He's fully fit, and he starts in fine style with 3 points.
Yep, good stuff indeed from Martin Vašilik there in heat number 4. And this means that every rider has now had their first programmed ride. So 1 of 5 in terms of the opportunities that the riders get. Mate Zegar, good ride from him. Let's hear from him now with Kiri Blore.
Matty, exactly what you needed to start off your night tonight here in Sweden. And the yellow gate seems to be working well. 4 wins out of 4 there.
Yeah, you know, everybody could see inside it's very, very hard. So they might change it in our next heat, but so far, yeah, the outside line is definitely the fastest.
And a good confidence boost for you winning your first heat?
Yeah, you know, it's funny, this Speedway. I wasn't on the bike now for 10 days. I've been on holidays with my family, came back, no practice, bang, so I don't know.
Exactly what you needed.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, thanks, Matty.
Yeah, sunshine brings success.
There you go, a bit of R&R has certainly worked its wonders for Zegar, although he did inherit the lead in his race, but a good bit of good fortune, you'll always take that. It'll be interesting to see how the track develops, because there's no question the inside line has been very slick and a little greasy, and it was drier further out, so they're going to work on the track. But they've had to work hard on the track anyway, because the weather they had on Thursday and again yesterday was very unexpected. It was cold, wet and windy. almost like a winter day in truth. And they'll put water on the outside, that's for sure. But yeah, that's the riders settled down. They'll get their bikes tweaked now with no practice. You've got to say that they'll be tweaking them and they're getting more competitive.
Okay, let's hear from another race winner. Emil Seifutenhoff is speaking to Kiri.
Your first race win, that's exactly what you needed for tonight as well.
Yeah, for sure. I has good start, and that's like going forward. So I'm really happy. Let's concentrate for another one.
Okay, talk to me about the gates. Yellow Gate worked for all 4 of those heats, got wins. What do you make of the track and the gates out there?
To be honest, it's gate 4 is not too good, because it's like you have like a little bit after when you put the clutch, you have like little jump, So I use this jump, and I'm not really want the start, but it's I going good line and going to outside, and then I build the speed there. So preparing for next one.
Perfect, thanks Emil.
Thank you.
Yeah, he was smart in the first race, actually, because he didn't get a great getaway, because there is like a bit of a dip, and it's where they've worked on the start line on the outside. But he must have been aware that it was drier on the outside. Doyle was in that race and spun up on the inside, and there's no question that the slightly drier surface on sort of the mid to the outside was working well. And as a hence, Gate 4 has dominated the first 4 races. They've just now they're still putting water on it. And that may change. Certainly on the inside, that will make it greasy again, because it was greasy previously. So I hope that doesn't interfere with the racing too much. But it's not easy when it's bright sunshine on a day like this. But certainly maybe a little bit of grading on the inside to generate a bit more grip may be handy. But we'll see. We'll wait and see as it develops. But certainly 1 or 2 riders will be encouraged by their opening rides. Leon Madsen, though, crikey, he has come into this championship and is just taking it by the scruff of the neck, because he's full of confidence, and he really believes he can win races and win Grand Prix and potentially win the championship. So, as I say, he's a real threat to this year's championship, for sure.
I'm waiting for Leon Madsen to have a bad round, but the way he started tonight, he's not going to have one tonight, is he?
No, he looks, as I say, he looks like he's just riding on the crest of a wave. So more water going on now, Nige, so quite clearly they're going to try and suppress the dust that was developing on the outside, but that will make it greasy, because they have tar packed the track quite significantly building up to tonight's meeting after the rain in the last couple of days. Madsen there, 1 point in front of Dudek. Smarslik on 38 points. And it's pretty tight, one of the top 5, not too much, top 6 in actual fact, not too much to choose between them. But a long way to go in this year's championship chase. Watering is finished, and Walter Bowser is now exiting, and we'll be on with the action very shortly with Vashlik, Doyle, Lambert and Frick coming out for their second race of the night.
Yep, looking forward to that. Heat number 5, the rider's about to be pushed off, ready for action then. Every rider has completed 1 outing each, and riders just awaiting the invite to be pushed off and ready for action here. And, looks as though they were about a minute or so away from the action.
Good to see an old friend of mine actually in the pits tonight, Rick Miller, who I rode with the Coventry Bees, and he rode in Sweden to great success, working on a movie in Estonia, and has flown over with a friend of his, and is watching and enjoying the Grand Prix tonight. Good to see him. Of course, Coventry Bees fans will remember him fondly, winning a couple of titles in the 80s. Riders just waiting patiently. Here we go as they roll down the ramp. And say heat number 5, not too far away now. Martin Vashlik, of course, going from the inside this time. And be interesting to see what he makes of that. Max Frick, how good did he ride last week in Bellevue? I must say I was hugely impressed with his performances for his home club there, and a rider that certainly is beginning to come of age, Nigel.
Yeah, and he rode beautifully in Prague 3 weeks ago in the previous round of the Grand Prix, and he's certainly a class act, the former World Under-21 champion 3 years ago now. But
time flies.
Max won the World Under-21 title, so whatever he achieves in his career, he can say he was world champion. I'm sure he's got serious ambitions to claim the senior crown in the forthcoming years, of course. Riders watching on in the pits area. We've had the grading break, we've had the watering, and we're just getting set for heat number 5 here in the 2019 Norbil Swedish FIM Speedway Grand Prix. We're live from Hallstavik in Sweden, and heat 5 is on the way. Here we go, it's Martin Vasilek off the inside in heat number 5. Jason Doyle of Australia, gate 2. Robert Lambert of Great Britain, gate 3.
Yep.
And then you have Max Frick of Australia going off the outside. 3 riders in this one racing British Speedway. And we don't say that very often these days.
We don't, unfortunately, but it'll be interesting to see how they get on. The 2 boys on the outside here, Lambert and Frick, have both changed their bikes. So it'll be interesting to see. You could see that from the transponder letters, they've gone from A to B. And interesting to see if that plays dividends. The track has been watered and graded. Here we go.
Can Max Frick make it matter from gate number 4? That's a good start from Vasilek again. He's got his trapping boots and gloves on tonight, it has to be said. Watch out now, the battle is on for second spot with Jason Doyle working hard. Doyle hits the 3rd turn, trying to go wide. Well, that was a lovely move from Martin Vasilek. Looked at from the start, he was absolutely brilliant. Vasilek, Doyle, Frick, and Robert Lambert at the back right now. Is there any stopping Martin Vasilek, who made a dream start again?
Yeah, from the inside this time, Nigel, absolutely right. It is a little greasy out there. There was a lot of water put on, but certainly the dust was flying in the first 4 heats, so tough one for the prepping the track. But Vasilek got away, and that was crucial, and he's dominating his second rise, and heat number 5 will be his. Doyle has worked hard for second place, but can't make any inroads now. Frick 3rd and Lambert out the back, but Martin Vasilek is going to remain unbeaten here, move on to 6 points. Looking good tonight.
Yeah, good ride from Martin Vasilek. 2 rides and 2 wins for him. And a real battle between Doyle and Frick, and Lambert missing out, the Great Britain youngster, at the back on that occasion in the 5th race of the night. But Martin Vasilek, it has to be said, I initially said there he's got his trapping boots on. I meant gloves, of course.
Yeah, trapping hand. He's been in the toolbox, Nigel.
You don't trap with your feet, do you?
Generally not. No, it's slightly unusual there. I'll be interested to see it tried. I don't know how successful you'd be, but certainly he's dug around in the toolbox and he's found a couple of starts. And Martin Vasilek leads the Grand Prix.
6 points out of a possible 6 for Martin Vasilek there. Very impressive indeed.
Clinical.
A couple of points, yeah. A couple of points for Doyley there on that occasion as well. Frick 3rd. Robert Lambert at the back. Look at that for a start from the inside gate. Brilliant.
Yeah, he's got that bike really set up to drive hard. Hugs the inside. Doyle there on the outside with Frick pushing hard. Thought for a moment Doyle might be able to get around the outside, but couldn't quite make it work. It was a little greasy here in this race with the watering going down, but the sun is still very bright, so it's a tough one. But the next couple of races, I'd like to think that the track will develop more racing lines. You can see there that it is a little greasy at this stage. But for Martin Vasilek, when you make starts like that, it really does make life much easier. And he's made 2 absolutely smashing starts. And with 6 points to his name, he's on the verge with another gate number 1 to come as well in his next one. Well, who's to say that after his next ride he'll be already into the semi-finals?
Yes, very much so. And, number 6 is coming up here. And again, we've got the wild card. Oliver Berntsson looking to impress off the inside gate. Patrick Dudek, world title contender. Freddie Lindgren, world title contender. Maciej Janowski, of course, missed the first round of the year. That big blow to him, but he's back fully fit now. And it's Oliver Berntsson going off the inside gate. Patrick Dudek off gate number 2. Freddie Lindgren failed to score in his opening ride. You wouldn't have thought that. And then off the outside, it's Maciej Magic Janowski in the yellow helmet colour.
It is indeed, and Janowski looking for a really big night to get himself going in this year's championship. It was a hard way to start the year with that shoulder injury, and he missed the first round, and he's playing catch-up already. Berntsson was impressive to get 3rd place, first time out. Big hitters on gates 2 and 3 here. Good-looking race, this.
Yep, should be a belt to this one.
Move for Dudek.
Dudek.
Oh,
well,
lucky not to touch the tapes. Must have been very close.
Must have been, Kel.
Very close indeed. Jesper Steentoft, no hesitation, rightly putting the red lights on. Frustrating for everybody because there'll be a delay. But watching it again, does he touch? Oh. I tell you what, Berntsen moved as well, and that probably sucked Dudek in as well. Watch Berntsen move. Yeah, Berntsen actually is the one that moves first.
I think Berntsen started that.
Yeah, he did, and that's why Dudek then jumps, because you're looking at him effectively from gate 2, looking to the left. And when a guy just rolls a little on the inside, both those two guys will get warnings, I'm sure.
Phil Morris is the FIM Grand Prix race director, and he will tell the riders if there is a warning being issued.
Yeah, I got that. If you can put the 2 minutes straight on, please.
So he's going across to have a word with Patrick Dudek. I think Patrick was probably expecting that, and Oliver getting a warning as well. So 2 riders in the same race warned for moving at the start.
Yeah, Berntsen, Dudek will feel a little aggrieved, but he did move, clearly. But it's that frustrating situation when you're looking across from 2 at the rider on 1. Of course, when he moves, there's a terrible urge to move as well. And the nerves are jangling at that point, waiting for the tapes to go up. And we often see it, but fortunately, although they've got a warning, they're both in the restart, which is good. Dudek is having a great season. He's just 1 point behind Madsen in the championship chase on 42, so he's been solid. Hasn't won a Grand Prix, but he's made all the finals so far. And a former world number 2, of course, when Jason Doyle won in 2017, pushed Doyle all the way that year. Not quite as competitive last year, but there's no question that Dudek is a potential world champion.
Back in the day, you know, I remember watching Speedway as a kid, and the likes of Ivan Major and Ollie Olsen, and they used to roll at the start and touch the tapes, and then go back and roll at the start.
Well,
and touch
effectively,
the tapes again.
Ivan used to start the race.
Yeah,
because he would literally get the referee on edge, and whenever Ivan stopped moving, that's when the tapes went up.
Yes.
So,
and then it was 1984 when they brought a rule in where the moment you touch the tapes, you're excluded, and it's wiped all that out in one season.
That was an improvement.
Sure. Oliver Berntsen off the inside, Patrick Dudek off 2, both on warnings. Freddie Lindgren off gate 3, and Matsej Janowski going off the outside gate in yellow. That rule came in, that was just about when you were starting as a rider, Kelvin.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. I found the rolling on the start line awful. I couldn't make a start to save my life, to be honest. But sitting still was an improvement. And these lads have got to do that now, because any more movement, they're going to get an exclusion, and they don't want that. Make life harder for yourself. Freddie Lindgren under pressure here. Failed to score first time out. He'll be looking to bounce back. A determined character these days, there's no doubt about that. He can be tough out on track. He's in front of his home crowd. He wants to go good tonight.
He does indeed. Fast Freddie off gate 3 in white. Now, here we go. Green light on. And they're away. First time of asking. Clean getaway. And Dudek has made a beauty off gate number 2. Now Lindgren's going to try the outside run. Dudek, will he leave enough for him? He does just about. Lovely sweet move from Freddie Lindgren, but Dudek's not done yet. Dudek tries to close the door, but Lindgren is a determined character and has got plenty of speed as he carries it into the turn. Dudek trying the inside run. Janowski is 3rd right now. Berntsen to the back. But this is a nice ride from Freddie Lindgren.
He needed it. He's responded in style, showing good character. Got away from gate 3 nicely. Dudek's pushed a couple of times hard on the inside. Janowski trying wide as well, but they're struggling to find the extra grip to try and find that speed to pass. Lindgren will be pleased though, out in front. Berntsen will be disappointed at the back. 1 lap to go. Fast Freddie Lindgren, living up to his nickname this time, looking good out in front.
Yep, and battle for second place with Janowski trying to get the better of Dudek here. But that's a lovely ride from Freddie Lindgren, and it's Dudek 2nd, Janowski 3rd. Oliver Berntsen finding it tough going here tonight as the wild card. But a smart move from Lindgren. As soon as I saw him go high and wide and into the dirt, I just had that feeling that Lindgren might have got the pace to go around Dudek, and so it proved. And in his second outing, Lindgren gets his night off and running after a last place in his opener. It's Lindgren, Dudek, Janowski, Berntsen, 3-2-1-0 point scoring wise, of course, in the SGP. And the top 8 of the 16 at the end of 20 races tonight progress through to the semi-finals. All about getting into the top 8 then. And that's a big 3 points for Fredrik Lindgren, as you can see now, in 3rd place.
Indeed it is. And, as you rightly say, Nigel, good way for Freddie Lindgren to bounce back here, and he's got his evening underway. A nice ride from him, a determined ride from Freddie Lindgren after failing to score first time. Overtaking is still at a premium. You've got to make your move early, and Dudek gets there on the inside, but it's greasy and slick, and you can't get the bike hooked up, and it's tough to then get the momentum, and you feel vulnerable coming off this corner. You can sense it from the riders. They're desperately trying to block the move and the swoop from the outside, but Dudek can't do that, and Lindgren then fires himself to the front, and from that moment on there was only going to be one winner. Bit of a battle for second and third between the two poles, but Dudek hangs on and has started solidly with two second places, excuse me, but for Lindgren, that looks more like it, and the Swedes will be desperate for him to go good. Second place last year, wants to go one place better this year.
Yep, up to heat number 7 we go, and Laguta, of course, had that mechanical difficulty in his opening ride. We've got Bartosz Smarslik here as well, Kawadze, winner for the previous round in Prague. And we have Niels Christian Iversen of Denmark as well. So every race an absolutely cracking lineup tonight.
Indeed it is, and a lot of work going on there with Smarslik. Just final adjustments to the rear chain. Looks like they've changed bikes there, looking to find a little bit more grip. Track's pretty slick tonight, and with the water going on, it's greasy, and it is tough once the race settles to really make a move unless a rider makes a mistake. So Smarslik, potentially yes, he's changed his equipment. You can see there from the transponder, he goes from gate 2.
Laguta, Smarslik, Kawadze and Iversen is your lineup across the grid from inside to out. Heat number 7 it is then here. Martin Vasilik is the standout performer so far. After 2 outings, here we go. Can Laguta make up for lost time? It's a good start for Martin Laguta. That nice one as he goes wide. That allows the opportunity up the inside for Smarslik, but Laguta's got pace, and here comes Iversen.
Good move.
Lovely move from the Dane, Niels Christian Iversen, but he goes wide. That allows Smarslik to come back up the inside. Good speedway there at the early stages, and Smarslik all over the place.
Clouds the fence, loses control, very nearly went across the grass, did well to hang on to the bike. Good move from Laguta there, this is good for him, putting the disappointment of the bike failure in the first one behind him and responding brilliantly, looking good, looking fast out in front. Smarslik on his third bike, I think, and is riding strongly in second place. Iversen trying to respond, but again, conditions not easy. Still a bit greasy out there, and overtaking is really difficult. But for Laguta, this is exactly what he needed. Good ride from him.
Yeah, looking very, very smooth and stylish here. Artem Laguta of Russia, with Bartosz Smarslik in second spot.
I'll tell you what,
there.
you can't take your eyes off Smarslik, can you? Because he does.
He's always up to something on the bike.
Exactly that. And I thought for a moment he was going to career across the grass. He did well to hang on to it. He hit the fence at the end of the straight that hard, but fair play. He hung on, but what a good ride from Laguta.
Yeah, Laguta the race winner then, a bit like Lindgren, bounces back with a win. Bartosz Smarslik second, Niels Christian Iversen third, and Janis Kawadze trailing in at the back there. And Kawadze, of course, who won in Prague a couple of weeks ago, but finding life a little bit tougher tonight, has failed to score from his opening 2 rides. And still Vasilik, the standout performer from his 2 rides so far. Coming up in heat number 8, we've got Leon Madsen, who is just a point behind Dudek in the World Championship, but a race in hand as well.
He has, and all of a sudden the gate stats are changing, because gate 4 hasn't won a race so far in the second block, and gate 1 has here. We saw Iversen and Smarslik having a battle down the back straight again for the tapes. It's a smashing start from Artem Laguta, just about getting up on the banking in time. He's vulnerable here, but just has the speed, and Iversen comes through in second place, but then runs wide because he's gone in narrow. The speed takes him wide. Smarslik reads it, and then let's watch what happens here now. Just gets it all wrong. It's a misjudgment. He actually just turns too early. Here we see a great move from Smarslik early as they complete the first lap. There it is. He actually gets a load of grip off that, sort of like what Saibutinov described as a jump coming away from the outside, and certainly he was untidy there and does well to hang on to the bike. So an exciting moment for Smarslik, but Artem Laguta, very professional, showing good concentration, and picks up a very useful win after the bike failure in his first ride.
Yep, heat number 8 is coming up here now then. Here we see Leon Madsen, the man who won his opening ride quite convincingly, and he's just a point behind Dudek now. It's Emil Saifutinov going off the inside gate here, also a winner in his opening ride. Madsen's going off gate number 2. Another race winner, Matti Zegar, going off 3, and Antonio Limbach failed to score on his opening ride going off the outside gate. That's your lineup for heat number 8 then. 3 race winners doing battle, and Lindback going off the outside gate.
Yeah, tough race for Lindback. He's going to have to produce something special. Emil Sayfutinov, very impressive in heat 1, but he's had a long wait for his second ride here, so different conditions he will encounter now. Leon Madsen, of course, the danger man.
Yep, here we go, and it's Emil Sayfutinov's made a nice start from the inside gate. Charging hard around the outside is Matti Zegar in the white helmet, and Madsen's gone to the back. And Zegar really taking up the running. Lindback on the inside, chasing hard after Emil now. Zegar's got speed. He's really hunting down Sayfutinov now, and that outside run working nicely. But Madsen is at the back right now.
He is indeed. Got squeezed coming off a gate 2. No room given at all to the Danish man there. Emil Sayfutinov, like Vachilik, really sharp away from the tapes this evening. Is looking good. Zegar building on that 3 points from his opening ride, looking solid in second place. Antonio Lindback, who had changed his bike for this one, hanging on to third place, but he's going to have to ride hard because Madsen will give it everything. But for the Russian rocket, Nigel, back-to-back Russian wins here on the cards. They're looking good tonight.
Yes, Emil Sayfutinov looking superb and very much a title contender this year. It's going to be Emil to win it, with Matti Zegar second, Antonio Lindback third, and Leon Madsen trailed in at the back on that occasion. Looking good for Sayfutinov.
Is that his first last place? I'll tell you what, Leon Madsen's looked nigh on unbeatable this time this year, and certainly there, he got squeezed out, and there was no way he could make an impact in the race. Sayfutinov, though, very good in front.
Zegar second, Lindback was third, Madsen at the back, and you don't see that this year, but that was good stuff. And Lindback taking third place, so it's Vachilik and Sayfutinov, the maximum men from 2 rides each, here in Hulstevik.
Yeah, nice ride from Emil, and he'll be pleased with that. His team, of course, will be delighted as well. So frustrating what happened to them in Prague. He was looking really set for a big race there. You're seeing Madsen there, untidy to the first corner, and as a consequence gets trapped on the inside and finds himself struggling for grip coming out of turn 2 and just can't get there. You see, just got sandwiched going to the first corner. Emil Sayfutinov, though, that bike's working nicely. And once he hits the front, Zegar tries awfully hard in second place, but can't get to the Russian man. And Laguta and Sayfutinov looking good tonight. Both of them would have been unbeaten, actually, if Laguta's bike hadn't have packed up, so they're enjoying conditions. It's not great for overtaking. Let's hope that improves as the evening goes on. But Emil so far tonight, quite calm. A lot of experience now, Sayfutinov. Been around some time, won 2 European Championships. And he's just taking a moment with his chief mechanic Susie to have a good chat about what they've been up to.
Yep, 8 races gone then here, so a little bit more track grading and watering, no doubt, for the riders for heat number 9, the next block of 4 races. Martin Vachilik, impressive tonight, immaculate from the start, and now he's speaking to Kiri Bloor.
Martin, back-to-back wins there, looking impressive for tonight so far at least.
Yeah, so far it's everything working pretty good. You know, my bike is fast, so everything going good so far.
Well, how different was the track in that heat to your first heat?
Sorry?
How different was the track from this heat to your last heat?
Not so much different. You know, track is prepared very good. You know, but like I said before, very important. It's a gate today, so you need to have a good start, and that's one of the key to success. So yeah, very important start, and that's our focus on. So yeah.
Okay, to start, outside gate was working well. Then the inside gate, you've got 2 more inside gates coming up. Are that a positive for you?
Yeah, it's all right, but all 4 gates is more or less same as I see. You know, so yeah, just good gating, and that's it.
All right, thanks, Martin.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's got his trapping hand on tonight, that's for sure. Certainly for the first 2, he was electric away from the tapes. Stood stock still and reacted brilliantly, so he'll be hoping to continue on. overtaking's tough tonight, isn't it? Once they settle, it's difficult to find an extra bit of grip. Track could do with just a bit more dirt on it, Nige.
Yeah.
And then you could see a little bit more opportunities. Lots of room on this track, but it's a lot further to go around the outside on this small track, and if there isn't the dirt there, then it's tough. But so riders will figure it out as the evening goes on as well. Poles get everywhere these days. Huge sport, of course, in Poland. And they are very loyal supporters to their men. Of course, their men are challenging for the World Championship. At least two of them are, anyway. And Smarslik and Patrick Dudek, who now leads the championship after that 0 by Madsen by 1 point. And Smarslik still 4 points behind the leader.
Yes, and Freddie Lindgren bounced back in style, didn't he, with a superb ride last time out?
Indeed, yes.
Let's hear from him now. He's with Kiri.
Freddie, it was a tough first heat for you, but you certainly made that one count. What was the difference between the two heats?
Well, I really needed to make something happen after that 0 in the first one, but we made quite a lot of changes on the bike. They seem to work better, and but the track is very difficult. It's kind of one line, so I really need to make good starts and ride the right line.
And nice to be here with the home fans.
Yeah, good to give them something to cheer for, and hopefully I can keep doing that.
All right, thanks, Freddie.
Thank you.
Yeah, both riders in the last couple of interviews have expressed how important starting is tonight, and that is evident. That man there, of course, is a trapper, and it could suit him tonight, Artem Laguta. So there's no doubt that they will be focusing on that big time. I think when the sun goes down, the track will improve. It's just that first corner is still beautiful sunshine, but that's drying it very quickly. As I say, a little bit more dirt. They are actually using the grader, so that could be interesting to just see if it gives it a little bit more opportunity for overtaking. But Artem Laguta, he is on 25 World Championship points. He's outside the top 8 in the world. He's more than good enough to be a top 8 rider, there's no doubt about that. And he'll be looking to make his way up the charts, that's for sure. And if he keeps riding like he has done so far tonight, then he will do. He rides, he's a proper rider these days. When he was in the Grand Prix Series previously, it was a little bit too early for him. He dropped out. He's matured as a rider, really good equipment, looks very well organised, and has come back into the series, won the Speedway of Nations last year, and is looking like the real deal these days.
Yep, very much so. And, up to heat number 9 we go with Janowski, Lindback, Doyle.
Doyle needs a night, doesn't he?
He does, yeah.
Yeah, he's just on 26. He's just on the fringes of the Grand Prix chase. Needs a really big night to put himself back in contention. Rides here, of course, but that brings its own pressure. Of course it does, people expect you to do well. Yep. Conditions are probably different than the league matches, so they're having to make a few tweaks, but Jason will be desperate. It's good in the leagues lately. His form has been rock solid. Still time for him, of course, but he'll want to do well in front of the home audience for sure.
Riders coming out onto the track then, so that was a pretty quick turnaround for that particular grading break, and the 2-minute warning is on, which means the riders have 2 minutes to be up at tapes, ready for the green light to go. And we've had 8 of our 20 heats to determine the top 8 riders and a place in the semi-finals here in Halstavik tonight. So it's a little bit tense out there. Riders trying to work out the best bike setup for the track conditions.
Absolutely,
it can't be easy, Kel.
It isn't, because unfortunately, because of what happened yesterday, they've had to tyre pack it. It's greasy with the water going on the top, so actually getting the bike to hook up and have the speed out there is really tough. And you're seeing guys playing around with it. You see with Freddie Lindgren when he was saying he made some big changes to the bike, and it seemed to work. So yeah, the boys are working overtime. Not too much longer to go before we're going to get on with heat number 9.
Here we go then off the inside. It's Mats Janowski of Poland, then it's Antonio Lindback, the Swede. Jason Doyle, 2017 World Speedway Champion, and Artem Laguta going off the outside. Doyle, one of the busiest men in World Speedway. He'll be back riding in the UK in the week. He's at Wolverhampton on Monday with Swindon Robbins. He was the last gasp hero for Swindon on Thursday in a win over Ipswich, where he passed Christian Piszek on the last bend of the last lap to win the match for Swindon.
That's the way to do it.
Maximums and confident mood. But as you say, Kelv is a local rider here to the Rospigana team.
Yeah.
And that brings its own pressures when you're riding on your home track.
It does indeed, and he's going to experience it again at the end of the year in Torren because he rides for them as well. So he's becoming accustomed to it. So there's no question he'll be very keen to try and get a race win under his belt right now.
Yeah, looking forward to this one. Heat number 9. Can Janowski make a good start from the inside? The winner here last year, of course, he has. He's made a good start there. In this one, Janowski has the lead. Doyle's going high and wide towards the boards. Now can he take some speed into that fence towards turns 3 and 4? Jason Doyle having a real go, putting the squeeze on Mats Janowski here. And a real battle with Limbach third, and the man at the back in yellow is Artem Laguta, just not his night so far. But Janowski looking good here, Kel.
Yeah, this is more like it from Janowski. Got away from the inside, trusted that he was going to get enough grip from the inside, and it worked. Doyle pushing hard. This is a surprise with Laguta looking so good last time, but he's tailed off at the back. Really difficult to get a lot of speed and make a big move once they settle down. Janowski won't worry about that though, he's out in front. Doyle chasing hard in second place, they're clear of third and fourth. But the winner from last year, Maciej Janowski, looking good. Going to win his first race of the night.
Doyle had a one last gasp at go there, but he couldn't get there. And it was Mats Janowski taking the checkered flag in fine style. Under pressure from Doyle, it has to be said, with Limbach third.
And the conclusion, yes.
Yeah, Artem Laguta at the back on that occasion. So Laguta with a win, but 2 zeros for Laguta. One of them, of course, a retirement.
Went in front, so that's a tough scenario. All of a sudden, he's on the back foot now.
Yeah, and it can really destroy your mood, I presume, as a rider when you're leading a race so early in a Grand Prix, and then something like that happens, and you think, wow, what's this all about? Vasilik, Saifutinov, Janowski now on 6 points from 3 rides as well. You need 8 or 9, really, to nick into the top 8 and a place in the semi-finals, and 8 doesn't guarantee that, does it?
No, not always. And we'll see it again. He goes from the inside in the first race after the grading break, and he trusts that he will get the grip, enough grip on the inside. As a sneaky look over his right shoulder, Doyle can't quite get there. Again from the tapes, Janowski into that first turn. As I say, he resisted the temptation to go up the banking. If he'd done that, I think Doyle would have gone underneath him down the back straight, but Janowski makes the right decision here. Doyle thinks he might get enough speed down the back straight, but can't quite get there. And from that moment on, as hard as he tries, can't get the grip to get by the man out in front. And as close as it got at the end of the race, Janowski hangs on for a very useful 3 points and moves on to 6. Doyle is working hard for his 5, but hasn't won a race so far, but making progress. 2 races to come. But this man has fond memories of here, of course, because he won last year. Doyle having a word with Phil Morris. Would have liked to have known what was said there, that's for sure.
Yep, heat number 10. And Matti Zegar, who had that superb ride in his opener, is out here off the inside gate. And then it's Robert Lambert, who's finding life tough tonight. The Great Britain youngster, Bartosz Smarslik, gate number 3 on another bike. 4 points to his name. And Fast Freddy,
Wow.
Freddie Lindgren, the Swede, going off the outside gate.
You know, that doesn't read good. You know, when you win a Grand Prix, often you ride the same bike all night long. This is the 3rd bike in 3 heats. So they really are searching for a setup, and they're rolling the dice once again. Can it work out? He's had a couple of second places, but they're looking for race wins.
Yep, here we go then. And it's a good start from Zegar off the inside gate. Now, what can the others do to respond? Lambert tries to switch up the inside. It's a lovely little move, but Zegar's got the speed. And Smarslik's battling away, and White as well comes through. And now Lambert under pressure from Freddie Lindgren as well. And Lambert's gone to the back. He's been beaten up there, really. I think that's welcome to the Grand Prix. And Lindgren's going wide, throwing the bike around. But Zegar has the lead.
He does. But Smarslik, for how much longer is he going to be in front? Smarslik's pushing hard. Lindgren was ruthless to come through into 3rd place. Zegar's in the right place, I believe. The change of equipment again from Smarslik, not quite proving to be what he was looking for. He's hanging on for 2nd place. He can't play around too much because Freddie Lindgren is there ready to pound. Zegar's going to get another race win here. He's looking good.
I'll tell you what, I need a holiday if that's what it does for you. It really re-energises you. And Zegar, who's fresh from a family holiday, has just pulled off another win.
How about next week?
Yeah,
let's
book your flights. Let's go.
Southern Spain, Costa
That sounds good to me. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, why not? Brilliant stuff from Matti Zegar with 8 points from 3 rides. Fresh from the family holiday. Vacation, to coin a modern-day phrase, I think. It's Matti Zegar the winner, Smarslik second, Lindgren really throwing the bike around in third place, and Freddie Lindgren at the back. But Zegar now 8 points out of a possible 9 and 1 foot in the semi-finals already, Kelv.
Well, I spoke about him needing a big night. Crikey, he must have heard me because he has responded supremely well. And I reckon he'll have a holiday next week as well at this rate because he has certainly come back a different character, makes a good start on the inside, and suddenly the inside gate is working really nicely. Tough racing behind, that's for sure, with Smarslik coming round the outside of Lambert there going into turn 3. Smarslik then pushing hard, Freddie Lindgren coming up the inside of Robert Lambert, and as you said in commentary, Nige, he got beaten up there, Lambert, on the opening lap. Tough Grand Prix Speedway. Lambert, it's rough actually going over the start and finish line there. Once again, Smarslik, such an eye-catching ride in second place, but he's just rock solid with those second places, 3 of them on 3 different bikes, so can't quite hit the front. But for that man, 8 points out of 9, that's a great effort.
To be fair, Kelv, we're on holiday every fortnight, aren't we?
Yeah,
it's called the Speedway Grand Prix.
It is, yeah, love it. You know, we're relaxing weekend away, and go home refreshed.
No kids.
No kids. No, certainly I'm enjoying it again. Certainly it's holiday weather today, that's for sure, with a gorgeous evening ahead. And we've got Leon Madsen to watch again here, and he goes from the inside.
Still daylight at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, 2.5.
Some people told me I was tucked up in bed.
Oh, of course you were, yeah. 2.5 hours of night time here,
yes.
Nice, just this time of year.
Right, Leon Madsen going off the inside in red, then it's Max Frick going off 2 in blue. It's Niels Christian Iversen off gate number 3, and Oliver Berntsson going off the outside. The wild card who really has found it tough tonight. In his third outing now here, heat number 11.
Yeah, well, we'll see what Leon Madsen's made of now, won't we? Because had a disappointing second ride, but so far, when the chips have been down, he has responded. Can he do it from the inside gate? The inside gate has been quite, working very well in recent heats.
Yep, heat number 11 it is. Madsen makes a decent start. Frick's trying to get the drop on him.
Done him.
Good ride from Frick, superb. And now here comes Iversen as well. Madsen finding it tough here. He's going to try the inside run, but Frick looking to hold the line. He's got to be very clever here. Eyes in the back of his head, John, as Iversen comes through, but Madsen closes the door. No way through for Iversen. And now Iversen goes high and wide, and his right side Berntsson through to third and puts Madsen to the back. It's all happening.
It is indeed. Can't take your eyes off it. Great opening lap there from Frick. Iversen took advantage. Berntsson coming through. Madsen having a tough night. And suddenly we're seeing a little crack in the armour from the Danish man. Out in front though, Max Frick, showing the sort of form we've seen in the league from him recently. Winding it on, stretching the throttle cable as they go into the last lap. Iversen coming on strong in second place, but for the Australian this is a super ride.
Yeah, rides for Francois in the Polish league. Bellevue Aces in the British Premiership. Max Frick,
rides here.
Ride. And riding here in the Swedish League and in the Grand Prix tonight. It's a good ride from Max Frick, the former World Under-21 champion. Started his professional career in the
first lap.
British Second Division with the Edinburgh Monarchs, of course, and he's had a good time there at Armadale Stadium, and that was his apprenticeship. And he's now on the world stage, and I don't think there's any doubt that on the evidence of the last couple of rounds of the SGP series, he'd be a worthwhile addition on a permanent basis.
Well, got to agree. I think he's really come on. I think he's suffered with injuries in the last couple of seasons, but there's no question that Max Frick is beginning to make his presence felt. A semi-final in Prague, he's got 5 points to his name. He's got Mark Courtney alongside him, an experienced campaigner, of course, and we'll see the replay. Tapes go up and he just gets the better of Madsen here. Madsen just missing out on the inside, then untidy in the first corner. Iversen pushing hard around the outside, has to go for the run down the outside. Then Madsen comes up the inside and it gets a bit untidy there as they complete the first lap. And then gets trapped again on the inside, and Berntsson was able to pounce. It really was quite exciting for a lap and a half there. Here we see it again with Madsen pushing hard and then out of shape. You can see the bike nearly got away from him there as they start the second lap. Here comes Iversen, all a little untidy there, but The one that's the big loser again is Leon Madsen with 2-0 places after winning his first ride. But for Max Frick, he won't worry about that. Fortunately, all that action was behind him, all the fireworks, and the young Australian man, as we've been talking about, he's got 2 gate ones to come, so every chance of getting to the semis again.
Yep, so we move on to heat number 12 here now. Yeah, you mentioned Mark Courtney, a Bellevue and a Leicester rider from the 80s. And
good rider, Mark
speaking of the
Courtney.
80s, of course, it's great to see the American Rick Miller in the pits tonight, Kel.
Yeah, good friend of mine. I rode with him for several years here in Sweden and for the Coventry Bees. He's a stuntman these days, working on a big motion picture in Estonia, so he's made the effort to come down and watch the Grand Prix. Great to see Rick again.
Yeah, doesn't look a day older from the 80s when he was riding with you.
No, don't like that.
Looked after himself, yeah, very much so. Martin Vašilik, Emil Sayfutdinov, Dudek on a warning, Kolodze on a warning. Dudek is the World Championship leader right now. He's off gate 3 in white. Green light on, and they're away here now. What can Vašilik do off the inside gates? Can he dominate this race now, or will he have work to do with Emil Sayfutdinov charging hard? And now Dudek on the outside run as well. He's coming on strong. Oh! Vašilik knows that he's got to stay fully focused, fully concentrated, while Sayfutdinov and Dudek have a real go in the second and third place.
Well, Martin Vašilik really has got his trap in hand on again. The inside gate working a treat. Sayfutdinov's got lots of speed. He's now looking for a way by. Martin Vašilik's going to really winding on. Look at Sayfutdinov squaring it off. Down the inside. No, won't quite get there. He's looking good though, the Russian. No doubt that bike's really hooking up brilliantly. Dudek's being dropped in third place. Into the last lap, Martin Vašilik winding it on. It's going to get tight down this back straight, but Martin Vašilik just about hanging on out in front.
Yeah, looks like he's done enough. That's a tidy ride again. Vašilik hasn't put a wheel wrong tonight.
Unbeaten.
He's been superb, making the starts and at the same time seeing off the challenge of the likes of Emil and Patrick in that race. That was great. It wasn't spectacular, but believe you me, that takes something special from Martin Vašilik in terms of powers of concentration and strong mentality. And the boys have just shaken hands going back up the pit lane. Good to see that great respect between the boys. Sayfutdinov second, Patrick Dudek was third, and Janis Kolodze, a pale shadow of his winning self in Prague 3 weeks ago. Vašilik is a maximum man. You can count him into the semi-finals already, and we've had 12 heats here in Halstavik.
Rider in yellow, Janis Kolodze. The winning time.
Well, there's no question that Martin Vašilik is having a superb night. He can't do any better than win your first 3 races, and then that's what he's done in fine style, clinical style. He's putting on a masterclass for starting tonight, and he said in his interview that that was what he was focusing on, and it's proving to be the case. Tricky start line. It looks a little bit rough there in actual fact as they go to the first corner. Dudek and Sayfutdinov having a scrap for second and third in the early part of the race, no doubt about that, but Martin Vašilik then coming under pressure from Sayfutdinov. I thought for a moment that he was going to get there. He's certainly got that bike working. I don't think they've got too much to worry about Sayfutdinov, sitting nicely on 8 points after 3 outings, but Martin Vašilik and Matti Zago and Sayfutdinov really are looking good, and they've got their bikes really hooked up very nicely indeed. So Martin was really clear that they'd found the issues that they'd suffered in Prague when he had a disappointing outing, and he looks really good tonight, and there's no doubt about it that Martin is looking good. 37 championship points, he's looking good.
Leon Madsen then has found life tough tonight. He started brilliantly with that win and has had 2 last places ever since. Let's hear what he's got to say about it. He's with Kiri Blore.
Leon, you always said to me tonight was going to be tough. You didn't quite know what the track was like, but you've had a first win out there, but the last 2 heats were very tough. What do you make of it?
Yeah, I did a good first corner in my first heat. In the last heat here, I passed Iversen on the straight, and then when I came into the corner, Fricke, he closed the door on me, and that braked me a lot, so I lost the speed, and the other guys could just pass me quite easy. So I feel if I could race my own line, I would be faster, but yeah, it's tough out there. You know, it's a small track, and there's no room for mistakes, and I also have to make better starts from the tape for sure.
Okay, well, another heat to go. Have you got more in you?
Second.
Have you got more in you? Another heat to go?
Yeah, of course. 2 heats more to go. I can still make the semi-final, and now I swap to the second bike, and we'll see if it will not be better now.
All right, thanks, Leon.
Thank you.
Yeah, work to be done, of course, for Leon Madsen, but still can finish on 9 points, so he won't be throwing the towel in. They're going to make a change, which is understandable, but of course there was that moment with Frick and Leon Madsen in Prague, of course, in the semi-finals, when certainly Leon Madsen squeezed Frick up against the fence in down the back straight. So, but I think Frick actually rode a very classy race when he was winning his last outing.
Well, let's hear what Max Frick has to say about it. He is with Kiri.
Leon, sorry, I had Leon on my mind. Max, that must have been a win that you wanted. It's been a tricky start for you. You closed the door on Leon there. Just desserts from last weekend?
I didn't even know it was Leon, if I'm honest. But yeah, it's nice to go and get a heat win. I don't really feel the fastest at this point, but it's all about just kind of picking up points and trying to be consistent as I can. So I started with a couple of tough outside gates, and I've got some inside gates to finish with now. So hopefully I can make the most of that for the last couple of rides.
Do you feel the track's changing as the night's moving on?
Yeah, big time. After the track prep in my second ride, it was really wet and greasy, and then compared to that heat, then not so much. So it's just trying to watch the track, watch the gradings, and trying to chase your tail a little bit, trying to get the right setup and something that's working the best around here.
All right, great. Thanks, Max.
Thank you.
Yeah, we've had plenty of wins from the inside gate in the last 8 races, after the first 4 races being dominated by the outside gate. So yeah, the conditions certainly in the first corner have changed. You can get out of that first corner off the inside gate where you couldn't in the first 4 races. Leon Madsen, I'm sure, has got more to say this tonight. He won't want to finish on just 3 points, that's for sure. But he's now 2 points behind Dudek. But there's no doubt that the Grand Prix is gently getting a little better, and we're hoping that conditions will improve as the evening goes on. But whatever we encounter, it's big World Championship points.
Yeah, Dudek leading the World Championship on 45 from Madsen on 43 right now. But of course, if Madsen, well, he's up against it now to make the semi-finals. He needs a couple of wins, really. And if he doesn't make the semi-finals, there's every chance he's going to lose some ground on Patrick Dudek right now. Dudek on 45, Madsen 43, Bartosz Marslik is on 42. I think we can possibly see that very shortly. Jason Doyle, the 2017 world champion, on 28 Grand Prix points, as we can see on our screen now. He's currently in the 8th position in the World Championship.
And that's not where he wants to be. He needs to be moving up the charts. As we've spoken earlier, that is his home track in Sweden. There's no question that he will be looking for a big night, but there'll be extra pressure on him. The Aussie, of course, knows what it's all about. A former world champion, got a new crew, had a complete clear out in the winter, and has employed a completely new team of people around him, and is looking to really push on and try and make a big impact in the championship. But he kind of needs to start doing it now, Nigel, because we're approaching the midway point, and for Jason, he needs to start getting some big scores under his belt. More than capable of doing it.
Very much so. Heat number 13 on the way next after this track grade and watering as well. Now, Kawadze was winner in Prague, hasn't scored a point tonight. What's that all about?
I don't understand that. You know, he was superb in Prague. He's a rider of vast experience, but to come to a track and go 3 zeros, quite clearly they are miles away with the bike setup. And they're going to have to just roll the dice just to get a little bit, get a little bit of pride back in the performance with an inside and a gate 3 in the last 2 rides. So, yeah, difficult to understand that, and very disappointing, of course. They'll be really frustrated in the pits.
And then you have Matti Zagar, who was very honest and open, saying he's fresh from a family holiday, which we're all very jealous about.
Of course.
And he's got 8 points out of 9.
Well, sometimes, I sensed he had the weight of the world on his shoulders prior to going on holiday. He's come back and he said he hadn't ridden for 10 days. And maybe it was just a bit of a stress buster, just to step away from the sport for a moment, come back with a clear mind, not setting too many targets, not too much pressure on himself. And he started in fine style. And we know that he's a class act. He won back-to-back Grand Prix last year, and he's been a fixture in the Grand Prix series for some time now. So, but you just sense that he's not going to get too many chances if he doesn't make the top 8 night, so Zagar needs to push on.
This is on the night that we can see here, the graphic on your screen now, with Vasilik unbeaten. 3 rides, 3 wins, makes 9 points. Zagar on 8, Saifutinov on 8. And then you have Yanovsky, Smarslik, Frick, Everson and Dudek and Doyle on 5. The battle for the top 8 is very much on, and somewhat surprisingly, Leon Madsen only on 3 points. And well back on 11th spot right now. He's got to get that right.
Yeah, you know, tonight's been about starting, and he hasn't, and he's got beaten up a couple of times. He's found himself just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and so therefore he needs to rectify that. He needs to get clear, like Vasilik. You know, maybe not the fastest rider on show, but he's unbeaten because they got that bike hooked up. So Futinov looks the fastest man on track to me so far, so he'll be confident in the pits. So it'll be interesting to see. Madsen under pressure in the Grand Prix series for the first time. Everything's been going like a dream so far. He's had a couple of poor rides. He now needs to dig in and salvage something. He can more than capable of getting at least 5 points from his last 2 and maybe getting into the semi-finals.
Here come the riders then.
Time will tell.
Yep, Heat 13, we're about to get underway, so we've had the grading break and the watering break, and the 2 minutes is on. That means that the boys have 2 minutes to get up to the start, ready for the green light to come on. And this is really now the nitty-gritty, the business end, as riders take their 4th outing of the night. This is where it can make or break you in the battle for a top 8 spot and a semi-final position here in the 2019 Norbil Swedish FIM Speedway Grand Prix here in Hulstavik, home of the Rospigana Club. And we're up to race number 13 now. Sun beaming down, crowd enjoying the action here. Very good atmosphere with plenty of good vantage points around this Rospigana track right now. And heat number 13 coming up then. Kawadze, Zagar, Berntsson the wild card. Jason Doyle is going off the outside as well. And heat 13 is coming up next in a few moments' time. Yes, here we go then for heat number 13 with Janis Kawadze going off the inside gate. No points so far. A real surprise for Kawadze. Matti Zagar 8 out of 9. Oliver Berntsson the wild card, 2 points so far. And Jason Doyle, the Australian who rides his Swedish Speedway here as his home track. He goes off the outside gate in the yellow helmet. Big race for Doyle, this off heat 4.
Yeah, it is.
Gate 4, I should say.
Gate 4, yeah, heat 4 was earlier.
Yeah, it was, we're up to heat 13.
Well done. And there we go. Yeah, gate 4, it worked well in the first 4 races, that's for sure.
That was what I was thinking of.
Yeah, of course it was. Yeah, we'll let that slide. But no, here we go. Jason Doyle from gate 4 in heat 13. Here we go.
Yep, big race coming up here. Then, a little bit of movement at the start perhaps there.
Doyle's got there,
continues. Zagar.
No, red light on.
Yeah, red lights are on. Yeah, couldn't quite see that. That's no major surprise. I just thought there was a little nibble at the tapes right at the start line there. And Jesper Steentoft, our referee, quickly put the red lights on. That's the 3rd time that's happened tonight now, Kelv. A little bit of pressure on the boys.
There is, because starting is as a premium night. If you don't get away, we're seeing again. Here we see it again. Zagar in heat 2, day 2. Yeah, just momentarily moved fractionally and does gain an advantage. He's there, he's hit the front, we see it clearly here. Well, he moves after the tape, so maybe harshly done.
Well, I think it's going to be Matti
Zagar. But the announcer announced that like 20 seconds before we had any decision, and they said all 4 back and warning for blue. Did you give him that information?
Certainly not, Phil. Certainly not, mate.
Okay, I'll speak to him. If you can give me 2 minutes, so warning for Matti Zagar in blue, yeah?
So there you go, clarification, a warning for Matti Zagar in blue, with all 4 riders back for the restart here in heat number 13. A few warnings being dished out tonight.
Yeah, as I was explaining, because the track is difficult to overtake and is a little greasy, there's no question that the focus on the start is absolutely paramount. And so therefore the pressure is ramped up. So any small advantage you can get is going to be absolutely crucial. We're going to have 3 warnings here, so they're going to have to be well behaved now. Otherwise they're going to be thrown out of the heat. Zagar is riding very well tonight. He can ill afford to throw that away now. This could be a pivotal moment in the World Championship for him. He could really turn his fortunes around. He's a Grand Prix winner. He knows how to do it, so he's building nicely. Doyle's the one, you mentioned it previously in the original stagings of the race. He is looking for a big night. He's on 5. If he can pick up a win here, then all of a sudden he'll be looking really good for a semi-final place. And Oliver Berntsson going out at gate 3. So yeah, boys, back up at tapes. We're nearly ready to go. 3 warnings here.
Yes, so here we go with heat number 13. It's Janis Kawadze off the inside, then Matti Zegar on a warning as well. That's a new warning. Oliver Berntsson off gate number 3. And Jason Doyle, the only one without a warning here in heat number 13. So the boys have got to behave themselves here now this time. Can't have any more moving at the start. And they've got around 30 seconds remaining now to be up at tapes and ready for the green light.
Yeah, plenty of gardening going on the start line as well. There's no question that Lodge as well, he needs to do maybe a bit of extra gardening because he really has had a tough night so far.
He's got those camouflage Kevlars on again. I can hardly see him.
I only see the red helmet colour. Not sure who it is, but we'll follow that with interest, that's for sure. Here we go.
Yeah, heat number 13, second time of asking then. Here we go. Green light on, and they're away this time, and Kawadze's made a decent one that time. That's the best start that he's made all night, charging hard around the outside now is Matti Zegar. Doyle's at the back here. He's got to work hard somehow, some way to charge through, but Kawadze has that lead, and this is a tidy ride. Oliver Berntsson, the wild card in the white helmet colour, charging hard through into second spot. Zegar third, Doyle at the back.
Brilliant stuff from Kawadze. Where's that come from? No points at all in his first 3 outings. He's got himself to the front. Berntsson, the wild card, going really well in second place. Zegar winding it on. Disappointment for Doyle. He's going to be kicking himself after this one. But look at that. Kawadze, how on earth can you explain that? Nothing from his first 3. Going to pick up a really useful win. 4th time out. Berntsson, the wild card, will delight his followers, having a really good ride in second place.
Yeah, young Oliver Berntsson will move on to 4 points from 4 rides. A good effort from the wild card. It's Kawadze with a win. Then it's Oliver Berntsson second, Matti Zegar third, and a very disappointed Jason Doyle trundles over the line in last place.
But how can you predict Speedways these days?
I give up. Give up.
Janis Kawadze really out of it entirely, and then suddenly off the inside gate, boom, picks up a win.
There's the win for Kawadze. Berntsson second, Zegar was third, and Jason Doyle will be, as you said, Kelv, kicking himself at the back. Vasilik 9, Zegar's on 9 now, so that's a result for him there, which still is enough to take him into the semi-finals, you would think.
Yeah.
Job done as far as he's concerned. A nice little ride by Oliver Berntsson there as well to battle through into second spot, I thought.
Yeah, he's giving it his all, and he's certainly not off the pace. That man was off the pace earlier on, but suddenly the inside gate, he's probably just shaking his shoulders, thinking, crikey, you know, why didn't I get going a little earlier? Because here he looks quite impressive. He's looked completely out of it in his opening 3 outings. Zegar picking up the solitary point, but because he's had such a strong evening so far, 9 points will do nicely. The disappointment here is no question Jason Doyle. Doyle is going to have to work hard, you know. He's on 5, he's got 1 more race, heat 17. He's got the inside gate, but he's got the matter of Madsen, Smarslick and Dudek just to deal with. So there's no question he's got a tough last ride. Here we see in the action. Oliver Berntsson, you're right. That was a really tenacious ride from him to come through into second place. But for that man, well, salvaging some pride after a very disappointing opening 3 heats.
Yeah, it's a good ride from Kawadze.
How does that work?
It's just strange, isn't it? He's probably doing his own head in as well, to be fair.
It does. Go on holiday. That's what does it.
That's the answer. Go and ask Matty.
Yeah.
Hey, Matty, which travel agent did you use?
Yeah, and where was it?
Where was it? Yeah, heat number 14, Freddie Lindgren off the inside gate here, and big ride needed from him. But what a lineup. Can anybody stop the man off gate 2, Martin Vasilik, 9 points to his name, maximum man so far. Then it's Leon Madsen off 3, needs points here to salvage his night, to give himself a chance of a semi-final spot. And Artem Laguta is off the outside here. It's number 14. Here we go. Oh, Madsen's moved to the start, and he's so lucky not to have demolished the tapes there.
Wow.
He just dropped the clutch and hoped for the best, Kel.
Took a chance there. And quite clearly feeling the pressure.
Yes.
First time he's been under real pressure this year. It's all been gravy so far. And and has ridden superbly well in the first 3 rounds.
He's just he's going to go here, isn't he? He's just, there you go.
Yeah,
he's just
gone early, and Riley will get a warning and will be pulled back. A lot of that tonight, and the emphasis on the start, I reiterate, vital tonight to make starts, and difficult to overtake. Yeah, clearly see him moving early.
It's on.
Yep, warning for Leon Madsen then. No major surprise there. We're up at heat 14 and the 2-minute clock is on once again. And the riders then have 2 minutes to get up to the tapes.
Now all of a sudden Madsen's under even more pressure because he's looking at slipping out of the Grand Prix and not making the semi-finals, and he's got himself a warning to boot. So he really is going to have to just settle down and be disciplined on the start line. It's a similar situation for Laguta, of course.
Yeah, 125, Phil.
And Laguta, of course, with the disappointment of the bike failure in the first race, then winning.
115.
And then he didn't score then in his third outing. Madsen was saying earlier, of course, that it was going to be quite a challenge tonight. Didn't really like this track. Doesn't ride in the Elite League Series here, only rides in Poland. So needs to salvage something. Got a chance, you know. He's got 2 more outings, still can make the semi-finals. But even if you don't, we saw with Smarslick last time, didn't make the semi-finals, but still picked up 8 points. If that's the worst you do in the campaign, you can still be champion.
Yep, every point you score in all 10 events of the Speedway Grand Prix count towards your overall total. And it's Freddie Lindgren off the inside, Vaclik off 2, Madsen on a warning now, and then it's Artem Laguta off the outside in yellow. So Madsen has to behave himself here when the pressure is on, with a couple of last places to his name as well. Could be a good race, this one.
Yeah, every chance, and with the characters out there, Lindgren bouncing back well. Certainly Martin Vaclik unbeaten, he's looking terrific. His starting tonight has been, well, out of the top draw. And Artem Laguta, he's no slouch.
Yep, heat number 14 it is then. Here we go. That time they're okay, they're away. And Lindgren has made a good start from the inside gate. Now Laguta switches up the inside. That was a clever switch from Artem Laguta. Madsen struggling again here. The man in third place in blue is Martin Vaclik, and Madsen's coming through. Madsen has got through into third ahead of Vaclik, but Vaclik won't give up. He's going to go in the outside run now and try and get round the outside of Leon Madsen. Is there any room there? Wheel to wheel for third place. Madsen now needing to dig deep here, but look at fast Freddie up front. He's at it again.
Yeah, good start from Freddie Lindgren after the disappointment in the first race. Certainly has bounced back brilliantly with the changes they've made. This is better from Laguta. Madsen working hard to get the better of Vaclik. Vaclik looking like he's going to drop points for the first time tonight. Freddie Lindgren out in front, delighting the home crowd, looking really good, really accomplished. Laguta, well, that's a solid ride for 2 points.
Yeah, good stuff from Artem Laguta, but Freddie Lindgren impressive. He's more like it now, is he, coming into the equation as a potential winner here in Sweden tonight. A Swedish winner of the Swedish Grand Prix could be on the cards with Freddie Lindgren, because he's got his act together after that last place in his opening ride.
Well, absolutely, Nigel, and certainly he's delighted with that. Punches the air, keeps the Swedish crowd on their feet and excited about the prospects for the latter stages. He moves on to another handy win there. 2 wins in his last 3 outings. Useful points. 7 points for Freddie Lindgren.
Yes, very much so. Lindgren, Laguta, Madsen, Vaclik is the way they finished there. So Vaclik remains on 9 points now. Martin Vaclik, 3 wins to his name. He'll be in the semi-finals, no problem. He's got 3 race wins.
He'll be frustrated with a 0, though. It's never nice having a last place on your score chart. And after winning, it's frustrating, but you're right. He's got 1 more outing to build on that to get a good pick for the semi-final. Inside gate looking good now. Really is picking up loads of winners. And Freddie Lindgren takes full advantage. Hits the front, stays there. We're seeing the first corner. It's all action as we get there, with Lindgren winding it on. Artem Laguta coming through nicely into second place here. And then you've got to say Leon Madsen certainly didn't throw the towel in. He rode really hard here. A little bit untidy in the middle of that corner, but there's no doubt that this tighter track is maybe just posing a few issues for the Danish man, who's been so good so far this year. but he's still in there. You know, it's still hanging in there, winning his last one. Oh, 7 points. Well, not too bad. Probably won't be enough for the semi-finals, but for that man with a race to go, then gate 2, got to believe that he'll be very keen and expecting to make the semi-finals. Antonio Lindback off the inside. He needs a big race. Hasn't been a great campaign so far.
Well, Lindback has struggled. And of course, in the week, the news came through that Ty Woffernan has got to miss the next month before a further update on his injuries. And I do know that Ty is in our studio tonight for our British viewers. And we really do wish you all the very best, Ty. Everybody on the SGP team, all the best to you. And to Greg Hancock, of course. We're missing you guys, both champions, of course. And this is heat number 15 with Antonio Lindback off the inside, Niels Christian Iversen off gate 2, Patrick Dudek on a warning off gate 3, and Robert Lambert, finding life really tough tonight. He's off the outside gate in the yellow helmet colour. Lindback's made a tidy start from the inside. Now Iversen trying the outside run, but that, I'll tell you what, Lindback's found some speed there. Now the man in white is Patrick Dudek trying the inside run to put pressure on them. Dudek coming through. Now he's coming to second place. Lambert's having a go as well. They're all bunched up behind Lindback, who's found some form here. Lambert not out of it as well.
Oh, Dudek missed the start completely, but it's ridden very nicely to get through in the second place. Antonio Lindback taking advantage of the inside gate again. That's worked a treat for him, and he's looking like he's set for a win here. Iversen's not out of it in third. All of a sudden the inside line is beginning to work now. The boys are beginning to hunt it down into the last lap. Lindback's got this. Dudek is hanging on. Yeah, once again, hunts the inside line. That's suddenly working. So Dudek in second should stay there.
Yeah, it looks like a race win for Antonio Lindback. Patrick Dudek has to settle for second spot. Iversen just hangs on for third. Lambert really had a go to get a point there, but Iversen got it. Held his third place there in heat number 15.
Needed that point.
Lindback, wow. Again, we see Lindback before that race had got 2 points and he wins a heat, and we saw Kawadze with no points, he wins a heat.
Yeah, gets the right gate.
Changing conditions perhaps here.
Absolutely, then he gets a good start and he's away.
Lindback, Dudek and Iversen, your finishing order, heat number 15 here. And it means that Iversen just clinging on to a top 8 spot on 6 points, but crucially, Iversen hasn't won a heat yet.
No.
So he's really going to have to dig deep in his last ride to make the semi-finals.
Indeed he is. He's got gate 1 though in heat 19, so every chance. Certainly it worked brilliantly here for Antonio Lindback. He hits the front, stays there. Looking at it again, Patrick Dudek missed the start by about half an hour, and but he rides so nicely.
I've told you a million times, don't exaggerate.
Okay, mate. All right, I'll try and listen, but can't promise. But anyway, Dudek rides really nicely and calmly to come through, and it gets tight at the end there with Iversen squeezed up, and it's a charge to the line, but Iversen hangs on for third place, and that could be a very useful third place. Inside gate in heat 19 for Niels, and he'll need to make it pay and work. But 5 points for Antonio Lindback. If he can win his last one, well, who knows? 2 wins and 8 points might be enough. Might just be enough to squeak in. It's going to get very, very tight. A lot of pressure on the 5th rides for several of the riders.
Yes, it is indeed.
Good race this night. This is a good lineup again here.
Cracking lineup, absolutely right. Frick. He's off the inside gate. Well, his last outing is on 5 from 3 rides, so he's got to keep the scoreboard ticking over to make another semi-final here. Frick's off the inside. Then it's Matt Sayanovsky. Emil Seifutinov off 3, and then it's Bartosz Smarslik going off the outside gate in yellow. The World Championship, by the way, Dudek's 3 clear of Madsen. 47-44, Smarslik 42. Lindgren 39, starting to really gain ground, as is Emil Seifutinov and Vacilik. It's all bunching up.
Very nice.
At the top of the World Championship.
Very nice indeed.
Yeah, in the race for the world title. So heat number 16 it is here. And away they go, first time of asking. Now, who's going to emerge? That's a good start from Matsianowski in blue. Frick's now under severe pressure down the back straight, but what a ride that is from Seifutinov in white. Now Seifutinov really putting pressure on. Oh, as Bartosz Smarslik goes on one wheel. It's a good race battling here now with Frick at the back, and here comes Seifutinov!
Brilliant! Oh, that bike bike's working a treat tonight. He had speed earlier on, and so it's proving here in his fourth outing. Janowski sharp away from the tapes, but the Russian had the speed, had the setup, powers to the front. Brilliant stuff from him. Schmarsling once again, all action, but just not generating enough speed tonight. Disappointment for the Australian Frick, but this is a classy ride from Emil Sayfutdinov. Desperate to make the final this evening after the disappointment of Prague, flying again in front.
Well, he's in the semi-finals for sure, because Ilse put him on 11 points from 4 rides. That was
very good.
Smart move, perhaps the best move of the night from Emil Sayfutdinov. A lovely move to get the better of Mats Janowski, and third was Bartosz Schmarsling.
He's had pace all night, Nige. He's had the bike hooking up, they've got it right. And it's working a treat. Not many people have been able to pass once the race has settled, but for Sayfutdinov, they're generating plenty of speed, and a superb ride from him, and 11 points out of 12, brilliant.
Yeah, and Sayfutdinov now leads the Grand Prix. He's on 11 points. Vasilik and Zagar are on 9 apiece, and Emil Sayfutdinov suddenly is only 6 points off the top of the World Championship. Yeah, what a ride. Superb stuff from Emil Sayfutdinov there.
Yeah, it was. That was proper speedway there, and a classy performance from a class act. There's no doubt about that. Initially, it's Janowski who makes a smashing getaway from gate 2, and then allows, he gets the better of it. And at this stage, you've got to believe that Janowski must have been feeling that he had every chance of winning the race. But Sayfutdinov there, look, the bike just digging in and driving forward. What a smashing feeling that is. They've got that bike working really well this evening, and from that moment on there was really going to be one winner. Again we see it with Janowski thinking he's on the fastest bit of track, but there we go, look at that, fantastic. The bike just steams forward and they'll be chuffed to bits. They've got that bike working a treat, looking like a winner of the Grand Prix to me. And can he keep it going?
Yeah, some good stuff there from Emil Sayfutdinov. We have 4 heats to go of the regular races before we know the semi-finals. Fair to say it's been a tough old night for the young boy Robert Lambert, who is now ready to speak to Kiri Bloor in the pits.
Robert, it's been a tough night for you. Still 1 heat to go, but what do you make of the evening?
A poor night, but no, this is a track where you need to make starts, and I haven't made one yet, except from sort of inside gate, and then I was just too flat off the corner and 2 guys come past me. But yeah, you know, it's tough night, but you know, got to keep smiling.
Okay, well, we've got one more inside gate for you, the red gate. Do you think you can make something of the last heat?
Well, let's hope so. I've got nothing to lose now, so put everything into it and see what come of it.
All right, thanks, Robert.
Cheers.
Well, keeping a brave face on it, Robert, which is good to see, because it's been a tough night for the boy. 1 point from 4 rides, and certainly putting a brave face on it, which is great. Good attitude to have there from young Robert Lambert.
It's not easy,
it's still a learning curve for him,
It's
of course.
not easy. Just been actually fired by this club, so it must be slightly awkward coming back to this track, but there's no doubt that he has a big future, but it has been a difficult evening for him.
Well, Artem Laguta, well, it's been an eventful night for him with a retirement, a win, a second and a last, and he can now speak to Kiri.
Well, Artem, your night been up and down so far, but a good collection of points. You are just outside going through to the semi-final at the moment. What's the last heat got in store for us?
My heat number 3, it's a problem my bike, and next 3 points gate 1, it's good, and next gate 4 4 is slick, track it's now slick, maybe next heat win and final, semi-final. Okay.
All right, thanks so much, Artem.
Thank you.
Yeah, he needs to show a lot of concentration and focus, because he's had an up and down night, and that's typified by the fact he's had zeros and wins and seconds. So Laguta going out of gate 3 in heat number 20, so he'll be keeping his fingers crossed. A heat win probably is what's required. Then maybe with 2 wins and 8 points it might be enough.
Yep, so we await heat 17 with Doyle and Madsen both needing points. Bartosz Schmarsling on 7 so far, and Patrick Dudek. It's a cracking heat 17 with lots riding on it.
Indeed there is, and for Jason Doyle, who was frustrated last time, of course, he'll be very keen to get away. And if gate 1 keeps working well, he's got every chance. Leon Madsen desperate for points, quite possibly won't make the semi-finals tonight, even with a win. But championship points are vital, of course. And Smarslik also is needing points tonight. Hasn't ridden as well as he would have liked. Hasn't won a race. He's on, what, 7? So he needs points in this last one. Dudek riding very nicely, very calmly.
Yeah, so Maciej Janowski we can hear from now. He is with Kiri.
Okay, Maciej, we were just looking at the table there. You're right in the mix to go through to the semi-finals. It is an outside gate as you head into your last heat, though. What do you make of the night so far?
You know, I try my best, and it's really hard. Everyone is pushing very hard for the good points. It's not many passing, I think. I just make a few mistakes. I go too far, but. Yeah, we keep working and looking for something better in my bike to make my bike faster.
Okay, well, it is all about the starts tonight. So are you happy with the starts that you've made?
Actually, after 2 heats, we changed whole clutch because I didn't feel right with the clutch. But now looks good. You know, it's hard to say because gates are a little bit different, and you know, when you're winning, everything is okay. When you're struggling, everything is wrong. So I hope now this gate 4 will give me some good jump, and then I can go for some points.
All right, thanks, Maciej.
Thank you.
Yeah, obviously a few issues there that quite often are, and he's battling away. It's on 8 points, so he's having a solid night, but he'll want to keep building on that. Fond memories, of course. And Janowski is a good all-round rider, had a lot of time in Britain, of course, riding for the Pool Pirates. Rides for Wrocław in the Extraliga in Poland, and has plenty of elite league experience here in Sweden as well. So a quality performer, but has had a difficult start to the year with the injury. Just beginning to find his form now, but needs to push on. Where is he in the championship? He's on 19,
well down.
So very well outside the top 8. So
he missed around, didn't he, Kel, with that broken collarbone?
Exactly, and had to have surgery on the shoulder as well. It was a bit more complicated than just a break of the collarbone. It was quite awkward. It took him a while to get over that. So yeah, he's working his way, and we know he's a quality rider. He's won back-to-back Grand Prix. He's led the World Championship, so he's a top man. Doyle, well, of course, it's crunch time for him now in a very competitive-looking Heat 17. It was flagged up before the meeting started, of course, when the draw came through, and it was always looking like a very tasty race indeed. And Jason here on 5 points needs a win, and if he can do that, then he may well just sneak into the semi-finals, which he's desperate to do.
Yeah, win or bust for Jason Doyle here.
Yeah.
Really under pressure. That last place, last time out, has really hurt him.
It has.
It's hurt his night, and he needs to take full advantage of gate number 1, but he's up against Madsen, Smarslik and Dudek.
Yeah, it's a really tough race. So Smarslik and Dudek, certainly Smarslik isn't at his best tonight. He's tried every bike and every setup in the book, I would suggest. They really are searching for something. Doyle as well, I think they're not really quite there with the bike, but sometimes you have to put that to the back of your mind and just try and take advantage of the decent gate, which he gets now. He's got that, and the inside is certainly working a lot better than it did when he had the inside gate in his opening ride. So, as you say, Nige, crunch time for the Australian.
Yep, 5 points so far then, heat number 17 it is. It's coming up, and a big race for all 4 riders involved. Should be an absolute belter. Here we go with a big race, heat 17, win or bust for Jason Doyle off the inside gate here. Then it's Leon Madsen going off 2, and Leon with 4 points to his name tonight. Then it's Bartosz Smarslik, who is 3rd in the World Championship, a point behind Madsen. He's off gate 3, and Patrick Dudek, the World Championship leader, but only by 3 points. But he can extend that over Madsen if he can make sure here of a victory. He's on 7 points from 4 rides.
Great opportunity to extend it over Schmarzlik as well. His closest rivals here, an opportunity for Dudek. Dudek very quietly going about his business and doing it very, very well indeed. And certainly Patrick has been hitting a rich vein of form this year and is riding supremely well. Tough race. Last chance saloon certainly for Jason Doyle. He knows how to win the big races, that's for sure. You don't win a world championship without doing that. Here we go.
Yep, here we go. Hit number 17, away from the start. Madsen's made a beauty, but he's just concentrated, it seems, on going in towards Schmarzlik. Schmarzlik's got square, and Madsen comes through. Madsen has the advantage now. Madsen seemed a bit harsh in the first turn there. Doyle having a go now, but he can't quite get the pace. And it's Schmarzlik who's in third place right now. The back is Patrick Dudek. Doyle really winding it on, but Madsen's found his form now, Kel.
He has indeed, untidy in the first corner, but he just about got there. He's fast in front. Doyle can do very little about it. Dudek, unbelievably, is at the back with Schmarzlik all over the place in third place. Madsen finally getting his act together here. Might be too little too late, but as we've said before, every championship point is absolutely vital. Look at Schmarzlik now pushing hard in third place, but Madsen looking good here.
Well, Madsen was untidy to the extent that he was heading towards Schmarzlik in the home straight before they even hit the first turn, but he's got the win. Second place is Doyle, third is Schmarzlik. And, well, an interesting race.
An interesting race
indeed.
Scrappy,
wasn't it,
It was a bit untidy. Don't think that's going to be enough for Doyley. Certainly that's going to be a patient wait for him to see how it pans out. No race wins, 7 points often is not enough. And Leon Madsen going through on 7 points. He'll beat, of course, on countback door because he has won 2 heats. But again, we'll have to wait to see if 7's enough.
Well, he's in the top 8 at the moment, Leon Madsen on 7. You've got Iverson on 6, and you've got Laguta and Limbach on 5. You know, it's looking good. But a last place for Dudek there, by the way. As you notice now, Dudek has dropped to 9th place, and he's level in the World Championship with Leon Madsen at the top on 47. It really is remarkable the way the progressive standings for the World Championship are shaping up, Kelv.
Big night for Sayfutinov. Could be a wonderful opportunity for him to surge up into the top 3 in the world. Untidy going to the first corner with Madsen getting all hooked up on Schmarzlik, and Schmarzlik all out of shape as they go into the first corner. Watch it again, because there's no question that Leon Madsen is very untidy and gives Schmarzlik a real clout as they get to the first corner. And then Madsen, he doesn't care, he winds it on and hits the front. Again we see it, Madsen out of shape, almost off the bike there as he gets into the side of Schmarzlik. Handlebar to handlebar, elbow to elbow. Doyle then coming through, but Madsen's got speed. Once he gets that bike pointing in the right direction, it certainly flies down the back straight. Madsen on 7, he's going to have to wait.
He's got 3 heats to wait.
He's got 3 weights to wait. Could fall his way. He could be like a bit winning races. Heat wins could come to his rescue.
Spot on, Kelv, because he's level on 7 with Dudek and Doyle, but he's ahead of those 2 because he's got 2 race wins. Patrick and Jason don't have a race win between them.
They're probably going to miss out, but Leon Madsen might just scrape in, which would be quite remarkable after only scoring 1 point in the previous 3 heats.
And Frick can scrape in with a race win here. He's off the inside gate. Lindgren's on 7 points, he's off 2. Kawadze off gate 3. Antonio Lindbach off the outside gate. So, big moment here. Max Frick, a win for him, and you never know, he could make it. Made a decent start, but Lindgren's looking smooth. Lindgren's looking really good high into the dirt. Frick now has to go there as well. Lindbach having a go on the inside, and Lindgren charges through. He spotted the move, spotted the moment, dominates the race, and there was Frick charging through.
Super ride from Max.
That was a brilliant move from Max Frick that they see every week at Bellevue.
Antonio Lindbach momentarily through as well, but Freddie Lindgren then recovers and just about hangs on to second place. Classy ride from Frick away from the inside. Oh, tight between Antonio Lindbach and Freddie Lindgren. I thought for a moment they were going to come together, but Frick looking good here. Going to move on to 8 points if he stays in front. Might be enough. Wait and see, but Max Frick, 2 inside gates in his last 2 rides. Well, coming to his rescue.
Lindgren's in the semi-finals with his 2nd spot. It's going to put him on 9 points. Frick is going to overtake Madsen, Madsen and Doyle. and Dudek. Frick has gone ahead of Leon Madsen,
Very
Jason
useful.
Doyle and Patrick Dudek. I did say before that race, a win for Max Frick, and you just never know. And he's got 2 race wins under his belt as well. That was a great ride from Max Frick.
Superb ride when you consider how much pressure he was under. Freddie Lindgren, the hometown boy, of course, coming through. Bit of argy-bargy going on in the
Just
pits
a
there
bit.
between Antonio Lindback and Freddie Lindgren. No love lost there. Max Frick, super ride.
Yeah, brilliant from Frick. 8 points to his name now. The Wroclaw fans, the Rospigana fans, the Bellevue Aces fans will be delighted with that. Moves into 5th place, Max Frick. A very, very fine ride. Really had to dig deep there as well to return the compliment on Lindgren Kell.
Yes, absolutely right. And we'll see them as they charge into the first corner. Freddie Lindgren up on the banking, then switches to the inside and roars underneath Max Frick. But Frick is really nicely positioned here. The track's working better now. Really good move from Frick. Such a super feeling to square the corner off. The bike digs in, powers forward, and you get the better of the opposition. Here we see it. It's a pretty much carbon copy what happens to Frick. Here we see Freddie Lindgren getting the speed coming off the second corner. Frick reads it beautifully, squares the turn off, wheels in line, bike gripping and firing to the point. The racing now is beginning to really improve because the track suddenly has got that little bit of extra grip in it. Max Frick, 8 points. Wow, good return that. Good 2 race wins. You say, Nige, 2 race wins is key.
Well, the way I'm reading it here, a second place for Niels Christian Iversen in his last outing, and he's in red here, heat 19. That would put him above Madsen. So Madsen and Dudek, the top 2 riders in the World Championship, would not ride in the semi-finals. They would be going home pre-semi-final.
Absolutely, and an opportunity for Saifutinov. But here's the lineup here.
Iversen off the inside, Zagar off 2 on a warning, Vasilik off 3 and Janowski off 4. Still an opportunity for Smarslik, Lindgren and Saifutinov to close that gap if Dudek and Madsen don't make the semi-finals now. They're on 47 apiece, Smarslik 44, Lindgren 41, Saifutinov 41. That's the World Championship.
Really concertinaed up, really at the top. Here we go, what a race.
Yep, heat number 19, the penultimate race of the night. 2 points for Iversen will put him into the top 8 in his second spot right now. The lead in white here was in Martin Vasilik, who's ridden brilliantly for the most of the evening. Second place is Niels Christian Iversen, but Janowski is going to put him under pressure, and Matti Zagar is at the back. He's on 9 points anyway, so he's going to be okay. But this is a good ride from Martin Vasilik, who will go into the semi-finals on 12 points.
Oh, Zagar charging up the inside, certainly got the better of Janowski. Janowski responds, just about gets back round the outside of the Slovenian rider. Martin Vasilik back to his trapping ways, hits the front, looking good. Iversen needs to hang on in second place. If he stays there, he's through to the semi-final, and it's going to really mix it up at the top of the table in the championship chase. What a night for Vasilik.
Yeah, Martin Vasilik is going to move on to 12 points with this win. 2 points for Niels Christian Iversen would put him on to 8. That means that the top 2 in the world, Leon Madsen and Patrick Dudek, do not make the semi-finals here in Hulstavik tonight. Disappointment for Dudek and Madsen. They'll be going home, and the opportunity is wide open now for Smarslik, Lindgren, Saifutinov and Vasilik to close the gap up. And as we go into the Speedway of Nations break, who knows how tight the world title race might prove to be now. Vasilik 12, brilliant. Emil Saifutinov on 11, still with a race to go before we know the semi-finalists for sure, Kel.
Absolutely, Nigel. That is really quite a significant moment, really, because all of a sudden with the top 2 missing out, the riders behind have a really big opportunity to push on and make their presence felt. Martin Vasilik's ridden nicely tonight, just missed out in his previous race, but 12 points from 15, that's a super effort so far. He'd be really pleased with that. Zagar misses out this time. Iversen, he must have known he needed second place, and he truly duly delivers that, and he'll be pleased as punch to have actually hung on to second place. Bit of a argy-bargy going on between Zagar and Janowski there momentarily, and Janowski just coming through in third place. But Martin Vasilik pleased to do that. But Iversen just scraping in on 8 points, and Madsen and Doyle and Dudek miss out for the semi-finals.
Well, the World Championship standings now, this is what it means. Dudek and Madsen are out of the semi-finals. They're on 47. Smarslik, Lindgren, Saifutinov, Vasilik and Iversen, all directly below them, are all, as things stand at the moment, into the semi-finals. And it has to be said, the only way that will change for Iversen's point of view is if Laguta wins this race from white, gate number 3, he moves on to 8, and he will go above Iversen on race wins, because Laguta has already won 1, and if he wins this and moves on to 8, he'll go above Iversen. So that's how it is right now. Robert Lambert off the inside, Oliver Bernsen gate 2, Artem Laguta 3, win or bust for him. Pavel Saifutinov brilliant tonight, only dropped a point, 11 out of 12.
Yeah, Saifutinov's been going great. The Russians going head-to-head here in gates 3 and 4. Here comes Lambert into gate number 1. Bernsen's done okay as a wild card. Here we go.
Yeah, can Lambert have a good race to end the night on and take some consolation away from Halstervik tonight? That's a good move on the inside here. What a move indeed from Oliver Bernsen, the wild card. Lambert will try the inside run now there. Laguta all over the place and in trouble. And it's Emil Saifutinov who's in 3rd place. And if it stays like this, Saifutinov will finish on 12, level with Martin Vasilik at the top of the leaderboard going into the semi-finals. And Lambert on one wheel, giving it everything here.
He was. He did a lot of speed there. Oliver Bernsen, who's enjoyed a good night, is going to enjoy the super night if he can manage to win here. Robert Lambert charging round the outside. Emil Saifutinov in it. How on earth Laguta stayed on, I don't know. He very nearly looped it coming out of turn 2 early in the race. Into the last lap, Bernsen looking good. Saifutinov looking for a way through. Is getting very close with Lambert down the back straight. Lambert should just about hang on here.
Yep, Lambert trying the inside run this time as he drifts wide. Oliver Bernsen with a win. Well done, the young man, the wild card.
That's brilliant.
Swedish fans absolutely delighted here. A nice little consolation for Oliver Bernsen at the end of the evening with a fantastic race win there to put him on to 7 points and just misses out on a semi-final spot. So as I confirmed that it needed a win or bust for Artem Laguta to change it, we now know the top 8 is clear-cut with 3 riders on 8 points making up the top 8. The semi-finalists are Vasilik, Saifutinov, Zagar, Lindgren, Janowski, Max Frick, Smarslik and Iversen. The top 2 in the World Championship, Dudek and Madsen, can only sit and watch and what impact the boys will have, because of course we have 4 weeks off because of the Monster Energy FIM Speedway of Nations after tonight. Good ride by Bernsen, Kelf.
Very good ride, and he'll be pleased as punch with that. And 7 points in a Grand Prix is a very tidy performance. We'll see Artem Laguta get it all wrong here. Gets away nicely, but then lifts violently there. Nearly hit the back of Robert Lambert, and then really and truly is out of it. He looked like he gets away nicely, Laguta here. Needed to win the race, of course, to make the semi-finals, but there he is. He's all over the place there, and it's really races run before the end of the first lap. Saifutinov picking up a 3rd place and moving on to 12 points to be equal leader with Martin Vasilik. But Vasilik, of course, has had 4 wins, so that's handy. But Oliver Bernsen, well, fair play to him. This is more like his old self, and the young Swedish rider is beginning to make his presence felt here this evening. Won't see any more of him, unfortunately, but he can feel proud that he won his last outing against some quality opposition there. Decent ride. Started slowly, finished well.
Yes, he did indeed. So some good stuff. And the top 8 clear cut. But as I say, the World Championship, Dudek and Madsen on 47 level at the top of the World Championship. Smarslik on 44, Saifutinov 42. Saifutinov wins the semi and the final. He'll lead the World Championship by a point.
Absolutely.
Remarkable.
That would be remarkable when you consider the disappointment in Prague just a couple of weeks ago. What a remarkable, 3 weeks ago, excuse me, what a remarkable turnaround of fortunes that is. Still got to do it yet. He has had a habit of tripping up in the semi-finals, doesn't make enough finals.
Just to confirm the top 8 then, Vasilik, Saifutinov, Zagar, Lindgren, Janowski, Frick, Smarslik and Iversen. Some big casualties. Leon Madsen and Patrick Dudek, the top 2. Jason Doyle on his home Swedish track. And Janusz Kawadze, winner in Prague, last time out. 4 last places. Amazing. Amazing.
It is a funny old game, Nigel. There's no doubt about that. You're just so difficult to predict. And, you know, you couldn't have seen that with Kawajay just coming in and really not getting going at all, apart from one race when he won from the inside. So exciting tonight when you consider the points. It hasn't been a classic Grand Prix. Overtaking has been very difficult. But the track has got better as the night has gone on. After the first 4 wins in the first 4 races for Gate 4, they haven't won a race since. And Gate 1 has been dominant, and that really has been a remarkable turnaround in fortunes. Last year, 7 wins from Gate 1 and Gate 4, so different this season. But semi-finals, I think I know which way I'd be going for the start, that's for sure. I think I'd be going for Gate 1. I'm sure Martin Vasilek will be doing that in a few moments' time when we see the draws for the semi-final. Not a classic GP, but as a consequence of Dudek and Madsen missing out, in the context of the World Championship, it's going to get very tight indeed.
Very, very interesting, and sets it all up for when we resume the World Individual Championship. It sets it all up nicely, yeah. I'm just checking my newspaper column that I wrote back in the UK in the West Midlands.
All right, well, for spelling mistakes?
No, well, there's plenty of that. It's the 1, 2, 3 that I wrote in the West Midlands regional newspaper. Madsen, Doyle, Lindgren was my top 3.
Okay.
Well, 2 of those have failed to make the semi-finals. That's great, isn't it?
You have told me on many occasions that you're giving up predicting Speedway results.
I just thought I'd add one into my newspaper
You really
column.
ought to, you know, listen to your own wise words.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a good idea. OK, Kiri Bloor now for the semi-finals.
Okay, well, it is that time again of the night where we pick our gates for semi-final 1. Right, Martin, when you're ready, Martin Vasilek gets first choice and heading over to gate 3. So Martin Vasilek picks gate 3. Freddie Lindgren, when you are ready. An interesting choice from Martin. So where will Freddie go? Heading over to gate 1. So Freddie Lindgren chooses gate 1. Okay, Max Frick, when you're ready. An easy choice for him over to gate 2. And Bartos, last but not least, at gate 4. Okay, so Freddie Lindgren with gate 1, Max Frick gate 2, Martin Vasilek gate 3, and Bartos Zmarzlik gate 4. Thank you, guys. Okay, well, we have another draw to do. It is semi-final 2 that needs to be picked. Okay, so Emil lining up and ready to make his first choice. So when the boys are ready, and Emil Sayfudinov, when you are ready, time to pick your gate. Emil just having a look at those gates there, just checking he's allowed to pick and heading straight to the inside. Emil Sayfudinov picks gate 1. Matti Zagar, when you're ready, 3 gates to choose from. Looking up and heading over to gate 3 there. Okay, Magic Junoski, when you are ready, it is gate 2 that Magic Junoski chooses. And then it is Niels Christian Iversen last but not least for gate 4. So Emil Sayfudinov in gate 1, Magic Junoski gate 2, Matti Zagar gate 3, and Niels Christian Iversen at gate 4. Thank you so much, guys. That is your semi-final 1 and 2 chosen.
Yeah, well, I've got to say that quite surprised by Martin Vasilek taking gate 3, but he did win his 5th ride from gate 3, so fond memories of it. But gate 1 has been clearly the dominant gate in the second half of the meeting. So interesting to see. Freddie Lindgren certainly didn't have any hesitations at all to go and pick gate number 1. Was probably quite pleased to have that option. But 2 strong semi-finals as always. I've got to say that Emil Sayfudinov has been my rider of the night so far. He may not have won every race, but certainly he has been very consistent, and he looks fast to me. I think if he can get away from the inside gate in semi-final 2, he should be set for the final. Great opportunity for Zmarzlik. 3 points behind the leaders, 2 wins. He'll lead the championship. He'll move on to 50 points. And that would be very handy indeed. But he hasn't won a race so far. So for Zmarzlik, a great opportunity to really make a mark. Gate 4 for him in the first semi-final. Has scrapped his way, you've got to say. It's been untidy this evening, but There's no doubt that he has dug in and just got himself there, and it's an opportunity. He needs to grab it now, because with Madsen and Dudek missing out.
Yes, very much so, a real opportunity. And Bartosz Marslik in the yellow helmet colour hasn't been at his best over the last 2 GPs, but to get 8 points and 8 points in the previous round just keeps the scoreboard ticking over. You know, if he gets another couple of points now, worst case scenario, it's a double-figure score, and it can't all be bad. And remember, 2 Polish Grand Prix to come after this. We're in Wrocław and we are in Torun, so still a couple of Polish Grand Prix to come.
Yeah, he's in there with every chance, and so is Dudek. Dudek won't be out of the picture, of course not, but it is certainly, I think, for somebody that Smarslik was right there in contention before tonight, Sayfutinov wasn't, and all of a sudden he has turned his fortunes around with a strong display so far, potentially 6 more points, and would lead the championship as a consequence of that. So
that would be remarkable.
It would be a remarkable turnaround. And Sayfutinov, who took time out from the Grand Prix, went away and won 2 European Championships. We felt that that was at the peak of his powers, and we couldn't quite understand why he's done it. Hasn't been really firing on all cylinders. Coming back to the Grand Prix, are we beginning to see a different, more professional, more focused Emil Sayfutinov in 2019? We may just be.
Yeah, could it go the distance? Could we go down to the wire in Torun in October to
hope so.
Know who is going to be our new world champion? Of course, it went down to Torun last year.
Yeah,
but Woofenden was always the favourite. It'd be. Well, yeah, there was a nervy edge or two there, especially when he crashed.
When tied back into the safety fence, it went down to 2 points.
Nah, never in doubt.
Never in doubt. Yeah.
No, but this...
I saw you go...
Yeah, head in hands.
It's over. He's blown it. I seem to remember.
Something like that. Yeah, so it would be nice if
might have been a little bit more forthright than that, actually.
Well, probably was off mic. So it'd be good if it goes all the way to the final in Torun. But anyway, we're up to semi-final 1 here in Halstavik, and it's on the way next. Here we go, semi-final 1 then. It's Freddie Lindgren going off the inside gate. Then it's Max Frick off gate number 2. Martin Vasilik, gate 3. Bartosz Smarslik going off the outside in the yellow helmet colour. How dramatic it was that Max Frick picked off that victory and just got his way into the semi-final here tonight. And the World Championship title race, well, how is that scoreboard going to look in 3 races' time ahead of the Monster Energy FIM Speedway of Nations in a 2 weeks' time in Russia? And then, of course, we have the next Grand Prix after that, 4 weeks from now or so. So it really is going to be fascinating to see how
forward to this night. Brilliant here. Can Max Frick rather get the better of Lindgren again?
Yeah, but here we go, semi-final 1. That's a great start from the man in white, Martin Vasilik. Never in doubt. That's why he picked gate 3 in white. I understood it totally, never in doubt. Smarslik charging on the inside run.
Okay, mate.
Yes, whatever, you believe me. Vasilik the leader, then it's Freddie Lindgren second. Frick's coming on strong as well. He's going to go into the dirt on the banking. Round the outside, Max Frick. Here he comes, charges hard around the outside. Frick really piling it on. Vasilik the leader, and here comes Frick.
Oh, he's hit the front! Brilliant ride from Max Frick! He's come from nowhere, now Freddie Lindgren's up the inside of Martin Vasilik! Vasilik replaced the compliment on the inside! Smarslik, he's not out of it either! They're into the last lap, you can throw a blanket over all 4 riders! Brilliant semi-final, the racing has burst into life! Max Frick set for the final!
Yeah, Frick looking brilliant, knows this track inside out, of course Vasilik has one last go!
Close!
Does Lindgren, but Vasilik's got there! And it's Max Frick who has got into the final! Unbelievable stuff here! Well, fans of Bellevue in Manchester will be not surprised with that. They see that week in and week out from Max Frick. That was magnificent.
Brilliant ride.
Great speedway and used... well, the track's really come good now, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's working now. We've got dirt on the outside. There's room. The guys can really have a go.
Start again, boys.
Fabulous, yeah. Let's eat one. Let's do it again.
One, yeah.
Max Frick, what a ride from him. Superb. Deserves to go through to the semi-final.
Smarslik going round to take a round of applause. There are quite a few Polish fans in the crowd tonight. And that means then that Smarslik will gain no further ground. The top three in the World Championship are now out of this meeting. Dudek 47, Madsen 47, Smarslik 44. Lindgren is in the final now on 42. And Saifutinov is still to come.
Missed opportunity for Smarslik, no question about that. Hits the front, Martin Vashlik after another super start. He knew exactly what he was doing, Nigel, taking gate number 3. Of course he
Never
did.
in doubt.
It was absolutely never in doubt.
Question it?
Well, you know, I'm sorry, I apologise profusely. Certainly Martin Vashlik thought he was going to win the semi-final, but Max Frick had other ideas about that. Fabulous ride, generating more and more pace. Charges up the inside of the Slovakian rider and stays there. Freddie Lindgren trying to get in the mix as well, but Martin Vashlik was able to respond and then get up the inside, and he goes through to the final here. But for Max Frick, this is a real highlight for him right now.
Absolutely. Here's a point to make as well, Kelv. We know there are wildcard picks for a permanent Grand Prix spot. Whatever happens from here on in, if this is Max's last GP appearance of the year, 3 GP appearances, 1 semi-final and a final. That puts him in the shop window.
It hasn't done him any harm at all. It must give him... I'm sure he was considered for this year, but there were issues, and certainly they didn't go for him. He's an official reserve, but moving forward, well, he could very well be in for next season. Certainly on the evidence of that, he's ready for Grand Prix.
Yeah, Temel Saifutinov off the inside then. Going off gate 2, Matt Sayanovsky in blue. Mate Zegar, a former Bellevue teammate of Frick's, he goes off gate 3 in white. And Niels Christian Iversen going off the outside in the yellow helmet colour. So it really is grouping up at the top of the leaderboard in the World Championship now.
It is indeed, and a great opportunity for Saifutinov. He had the first pick, he went for the inside. And Zagar now, he has the second pick, and he went from gate 3. Martin Vashlik certainly made it work. Initially, can Iversen do something similar like Frick did by roaring around the outside from gate 4?
Saifutinov wins this, he'll be 2 points off the lead in the World Championship, and he's made a good, tidy start. Oh, down in the first turn, Iversen's gone down towards the fence. The red lights will have to come on now, and they have indeed. And a decision to be made here now. Will it be a first bend incident, an unsatisfactory start to the race, or will somebody be deemed at fault for the stoppage of the race?
They were all charging up the banking there, and unfortunately for Iversen, he must have had some contact here. Did he have contact with Zagar?
No.
Well, maybe a fraction from the dirt deflector on his left foot. That's the only mitigating circumstance there. But it does appear on first viewing that he may have fallen on his own. The dirt deflector can catch you. It has just caught him, so that has unsettled him, and it'll be interesting to see which way the referee sees it and whether we get all 4 back. But that can unsettle you with the dirt deflector just taking your foot away.
Could so easily be all 4 back, couldn't it? We see that.
I hope it is.
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah, it definitely unsettled him.
Yeah, put them all 4 back, ref.
Yeah, but you thought it was no contact.
No,
so
I did say that
do you
from
want
the first
Do you want
angle.
my very expensive glasses?
No, I'm all right.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right.
All 4 back is the verdict. Good stuff.
I like that.
Yeah, good call.
I like that.
Good call. So, yeah.
Racing's good now.
Excellent.
And we're finishing with a rattle now. And the sun is just beginning to go down. Track conditions have improved. Was a little greasy and a little slick earlier on, and that made it tough, really tough to overtake. But it was difficult after the rain over Thursday night, and of course again yesterday with qualifying cancelled, and they didn't want to take any chances with the surface, and that's probably proved to be the right choice and the right decision. Hans Nielsen there just keeping an eye on his charge. Leon Madsen's normally the man he's chatting to at this stage of a Grand Prix this year, but not tonight. Madsen's missed out on 7 points. Phil Morris having charged in, a very athletic race director we have with Phil Morris. Does plenty of running around, just keeping an eye on the boys getting Iversen's bike ready for the rerun. See it again. You see the dirt deflector at the back of the bike. You can just see it there. And as he turns, Zagar, the left leg of... that's it, just there, and it clips him and it unsettles you. And he goes down. I know in slow motion it looks like he should have stayed on board, but it can do it. And I'm pleased that we've got it all four back.
Yeah, that's why.
There, it just takes it away from him.
To be fair, Kel, my initial instinct was maybe he should have stayed on the bike, but I've never been a speedway rider and I'm not qualified to say that.
No, it's
not entitled to.
It doesn't look that spectacular. It looks like he could have stayed on board,
Yeah.
but when that left leg takes away like that, you kind of you're hanging on the edge of the tyre. But here we go.
Yeah, Phil Morris, who is he acts almost like another referee, doesn't he? Where we've got Jesper Steentoft in the box.
Well, he's a hands-on man, isn't he? And as I say, he's certainly takes his job very seriously, and there's no question that he's trying to do the job to the best of his ability and
I
keeping
think
an
we
eye.
should give him yellow and red cards, right? So when he issues a warning for a starting offence, he goes into his pocket in his shirt and
Right.
pulls out a yellow card.
Okay, so you want the football. You want the football.
Give him
here.
a whistle as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Give him a whistle. And then give him a yellow card. Yeah.
I think you've overstepped the mark.
Okay,
Just have a lie
just
down
a
out the
thought.
back. Just have a lie down.
Tweet us your views, folks.
Yeah, that's right. I
Yeah,
know what's
keep it
coming.
clean, though.
I know what it's coming.
And we've
Here
got
we
plenty
go.
of VAR in here as well.
We have indeed. Well,
Let's
we've
not
pretty
start.
much got the VAR. If you move on the start, you're out.
That's a conversation for another day. Yeah,
Quite a long
let's
one,
move
I
on.
think. Yeah. Semi-final number 2.
Yes.
Second time of asking. Who's going to make the final? 3 riders at tapes. Everson now bursting out onto the track. And can he stay on his motorbike in the first corner this time? Emil Seifutenov's had a good night, isn't he? And it's good to see Emil riding so well, because when Ty Wolfenden won his first World Championship, it was really nip and tuck between those two boys.
Yep.
He actually dominated the first half of that season, and then Wolfie came on strong in the second half. But it was a great championship chase, and a lot of us thought that he would go on and win a title in the next
Such a
year
nice
or two.
guy as well.
Yeah, he is.
He's
Yeah.
off the inside.
Yeah.
Janowski off 2, Zegar off 3, and Everson off the outside. Yeah, it's such a real nice guy, Emil Seifutenov, a gentleman of the sport. Always goes out of his way to shake your hand and
But I tell
have
you
a chat
what,
with you. It's great.
when it's like this and he's got his confidence high, he's a tiger on the track, that's for sure. And he's riding well. Here we go.
Yeah, can he do it again then? Big race coming up, semi-final number 2. They're away this time, and Janowski's made a beauty. Maxi Janowski has made an absolute beauty, and here comes Everson round the outside. Everson trying the outside run, and Emil Seifutenov caught up in traffic now. The lead here is with Maxi Janowski. Here comes Everson round the outside. No room. No
Slams
room.
the door shut there, Janowski. Seifutenov then pounces, and Everson's gone down again and blows it. He was in a really good position. Seifutenov, well, he's up off the track. The race will continue. Janowski, a winner here last time night. Can he repeat that? That would be quite remarkable. And Seifutenov chasing him hard in second place.
Yeah, Niels has just thrown the bike down in anger on the infield.
Frustration there.
Frustration. Janowski is going to make the final here. Emil Seifutenov is going to join him as well. This will put Seifutenov 3 points behind the leaders in the World Championship. He's going to be level with Smarslik on 44 points in the world title race. So an opportunity for the Russian rocket, Emil Seifutenov. If he wins the final, he will be joint leader of the World Championship. That's the significance of that result in semi-final 2.
Wow, that's a big move from Seifutenov. What a start from Matvei Janowski.
Oh, he nailed it, didn't he?
Textbook start,
Yeah.
absolutely did nail it. And won here last year, of course, and has had a difficult start to the year, well outside the top 8. But all of a sudden, can he win here on consecutive seasons? Brilliant ride from him.
Yep, Janowski the winner then, Emil Seifutenov second, Matti Zegar was third, and Niels Christian Everson fell. It's going to be a mouth-watering final, and it's on the way next.
Well, here we see it, and as it's panning out now, just 4 riders left to go head-to-head in the final. Disappointment for Everson, bites the dust twice in semi-final 2, and he was in a very good position there, had ridden strongly to get through to second place, and he will be kicking himself after that. Great start from Janowski, and clamps Emil Seifutenov on the inside, and Seifutenov was trapped and gets relegated to third place as they complete the opening lap. Everson coming on strong. Janowski responds. Whoa, no racing room there. But now Everson comes charging in, and the bikes just pirouettes around underneath him. He will be so frustrated. He had every chance there, but it slipped away with him falling off for the second time. Emil Sayfutdinov, grateful for that, but you've got to say Sayfutdinov's been quick all night. But Janowski suddenly coming good when he really needed to, and Janowski's moved on to 12 points tonight. That's very useful indeed. Won, of course, the Grand Prix here last season. Can he do it again? He makes a start like that, you wouldn't rule him out of it at all. It's been solid all night, actually. Been kind of overlooked in lots of ways.
Yeah, he's just gone about his business pretty quietly. It was only his second win of the night. So he's just gone about his business in a very quiet manner. Can he make it a second successive Halstavik win? Maciej Janowski.
Yeah,
really
well, he can.
Fascinating now.
He can. He's a proven performer at this level, so there's no reason to think he can't do it. And when he makes starts like that, well, he'll be a difficult man to beat. Sayfutdinov, what a move from Emil Sayfutdinov. Equal third in the World Championship going into this final. And good to see him make the final. You know, so often he's made semis and then dips out, and frustration. A hatful of points, but he doesn't get on the rostrum, and so often it's been the case in his return to the series, you know. But this year, who knows with this move. And as you've rightly said, Nige, if he wins the final, he will be joint leader with Dudek and Madsen going into Wrocław in a month's time.
And whatever happens, the end of this round 4, there will only be 5 points. 5 points between the top 6 in the world.
Wow.
Approaching the halfway stage.
Well, they've moved away, haven't they, from 7th?
That pack's pulled clear now.
Yeah, they're 10 points clear of Everson. So, yeah.
Yep. Let's head down to Kiri for the lineup for the final.
Okay, it is the last choices of the night, and Maciej Janowski is ready, heading towards the gate already. His choice was already made, jumping into gate 1. Okay, Max Frick, it is time for you to make your choice. Gate 2, it's an easy choice for him. Martin Vaclik, when you're ready, straight over to gate 3. Emil, that means your gate is picked for you already. So our final lineup, as it stands, is Maciej Janowski, Max Frick in gate 2, Martin Vaclik in gate 3, and Emil Sayfutdinov in gate 4. Thank you, guys. That is your final done and dusted.
So the final lineup then, yeah.
It might have fallen right for Vaclik there. He will have had gate 3 in his last 3 outings.
And he picked gate 3, didn't he, in his semi-final?
Exactly. So who's to say if he had the first pick, he wouldn't have picked it again there. So he may well be a very happy man. Janowski looked a little undecided there because he won the semi-final from gate 2. As did Frick, actually, but he didn't win it from the start. He won it by a stunning ride around the outside and on the inside to get the better of the opposition. But there's no doubt that this is going to be a hugely competitive race. And in the context of the World Championship, it's so tight between the top 6 riders now. Vaclik, of course, can move on to a 45-point haul and put himself up into 3rd place. But nonetheless, it's going to be hugely exciting moving forward to Wrocław, where it's sold out in a month's time. Sold out very quickly, in actual fact. Fans delighted to go back to the stadium there.
The Olympic Stadium?
The Olympic Stadium, built in 1936 and has had a major renovation for the World Games a couple of years ago.
That's when you rode for them, wasn't it?
It was 1936. And still going strong, I am. I'm delighted with my health and fitness at this stage. Remarkable. It must be the tablets. But anyway.
Keep taking them, mate.
I am. But there's no doubt that... it's around about 100 million euros they spent on the stadium.
Wow.
It's a fabulous place to visit now.
4 weeks, bring it on. Of course, Russia first, so we're looking forward to the Monster Energy FIM Speedway of Nations.
Yes, 2 days of top-class action there.
Yep.
And a shame that the world champion won't be there. Of course, the back injury will keep him on the sidelines for a little longer. But nonetheless, the reigning champions in Laguta and Sayfutdinov, of course, will be very keen indeed to retain the title in front of the home crowd. Of course, Laguta and Sayfutdinov were the first shale gold medal winners for Russia. They've won numerous ice racing gold medals, of course, but on shale, Sayfutdinov and Laguta, heroes back in their own country with that win in the Speedway of Nations last year.
Yes, very much so. Anticipation then all around this Norbil Swedish FAM Speedway Grand Prix in Halstavik. here in Sweden. And just to confirm the World Championship standings and remind you that Dudek, Madsen and Smarslik do not take part in the final, neither does Lindgren. So, yeah, it could well be that we have a three-way tie for the lead in the World Championship.
Very easily.
With a win for Saifutinov here. Yeah. And he's going off the outside gate. And don't rule that out, by the way, because he can go wide and hit the dirt in the banking.
Could. How about a Max Frick win then?
Well.
How about that?
Yeah.
You would have had fairly good odds on that coming into tonight. He wouldn't have been one of the favourites, but he's certainly ridden superbly well in front of his home crowd. He rides here, of course.
He'd only got 5 from 4 rides.
Yeah, he's turned it on in the last couple, hasn't he?
Yeah, brilliant. So here we go with the final then. This should be something special. Track's coming good. It's all set up beautifully. Here we go. Well, it's all set up beautifully, isn't it, for the final of the Norville Swedish FIM Speedway Grand Prix here at Halstavik. And it's Mats Janowski off the inside gate in red. We remind you he won here last year. Then it's Max Frick going off gate 2 in blue, the talented Australian, former World Under-21 champion. Gate 3 in white is Martin Vasulik, who early on tonight was the best rider on show with 9 out of 9. And Emil Saifutinov, who had 8 out of 9, and then 11 out of 12. He is going off the outside gate, and if he wins this race, Emil, he will be joint leader of the World Championship going into round 5 on 47 with Dudek and Madsen. And even though Dudek and Madsen haven't made it, well, they know that they're still going to be on top of the World Championship leaderboard jointly this evening, whatever happens here in the next 60 seconds or so. Here we go, the grand final here in Halstavik of this Grand Prix. Round 4 of 10 in the World Championship. And the boys get underway, and they're away first time, and it's Vasulik from gate number 3, riding beautifully. He's made a great start. Watch out for Saifutinov in the dirt!
Oh! Fabulous move from Emil! The Russian rocket, as you said, Nige, roared up the banking and has hit the front. Could he be a joint leader at the end of this? Very likely. Superstar initially from Vasulik. Here comes Frick. Frick's winding it on as well. He's right in the mix now. Janowski possibly going to get relegated to the back. Emil Saifutinov, he's gone. Barring mechanical failure, he's going to win the final.
Well, I did say he had last choice. He had no choice. He was given gate number 4 as the only option. And I did say, didn't I, that it's not all that bad because he can go into the dirt in the banking, and that's exactly what he did.
You should have been a rider, Nige. You could have had a marvellous career. Saifutinov out in front, riding brilliantly this evening.
Emil Saifutinov is winner here in Sweden and joint leader of the World Championship after 4 of 10 rounds. 47 apiece. Saifutinov, Dudek and Madsen, and Emil finishes top scorer and winner here in Halstavik tonight with 17 big points, including 4 wins in his 7 outings, and it couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Emil Saifutinov, terrific stuff. After Vasulik made the start from gate 3, Emil, well, he brushed him aside down the back straight, Kel.
Ah, superb move. And there's no doubt that it had the bike working even earlier on when it was slick and greasy. They was still fast. Saifutinov wins in superb style. Certainly that move in the first corner was dramatic and clinched the win. Martin Vasulik has also ridden well, but Emil Saifutinov wins in fine style tonight.
Yeah, Vasulik second, Janowski third. Max Frick at the back, although he had a go and wasn't too far off in the end. And that is the way it's finished tonight, with Emil Saifutinov the winner on 17 points. And we remind you, before the start of tonight's proceedings, Emil was 10 points off the World Championship lead.
Wow,
He's
what a
now
move.
joint leader.
That is significant, Nige, and you know he has the class, he knows what it's all about, and could it be his year? But it's so very top now, close at the top. We're seeing it with Emil Saifutinov just celebrating with a few wheelies in front of the crowd.
Yep.
But could this be the decisive turning point? We're seeing it again here.
Just had a feeling he's last there. He's last.
Yeah, Martin Vasulik. And this is my bit, mate. You know,
Sorry.
I go around the outside and
Sorry, I'll shut up. Carry on.
Yeah. Just keep your mouth shut for a
Start the
moment.
car.
Okay, get the taxi ready. Look at this. This is fabulous stuff. Down the back straight, so much speed, enough racing room. Fair play to Vasilik. Didn't slam the door shut. And Emil Sayfutdinov takes full advantage. Janowski was unsure about taking gate 1. Doesn't prove to be the right place. Gets trapped. Max Frick pushing hard. But from the moment Sayfutdinov hits the front, he's had speed in that bike throughout the evening, and he was able to pull away, and he won relatively comfortably in the end. He will be really chuffed to bits. I don't know when he won his last Grand Prix, but I know it's some considerable time ago. So could this be the first of many? Could it be like buses? We could see several coming along all at once, and he's got the Speedway of Nations to come. What a confidence boost that is, if they can retain that World Pairs Championship in just a couple of weeks' time in Togliatti. Brilliant night for Sayfutdinov. Not a classic Grand Prix, but it's certainly got a very exciting at the end.
It livened up at the end, without a doubt. There was some dramatic action in the last 5 or 6 races. You're quite right, Kelv. It wasn't a classic early on, but the way points were being dropped and taken off each other kept it interesting. And then we've had a fantastic finale with some great racing to round the night off here in Halstavik. So it's been enjoyable overall, and the world title race now, 3 riders level on 47 points, and only 5 points separate the top 6 in the world.
Yeah.
It is fantastic.
It is fantastic, and so good to see Emil with that big smile, so dejected after the chain failure in Prague that denied him the opportunity to go through to the final. And he is absolutely delighted to have won this evening. And well, as I said before, he is a class act. A lot of people would argue that he could have been world champion earlier in his career if he hadn't elected to go off to the European Championship. But what a night, and it belongs to Emil Sayfutdinov.
Yeah, stunning stuff from Emil. Well done, well ridden, and it was a decent final. And Martin Vasilik's had a terrific night as well, and he's in the title hunt. He's only 3 off. You know, that in actual fact, if we stick to the top 5, there's only 3 points between the top 5. 5 between the top 6. It really is
very tight
remarkable.
Indeed.
Yeah,
could go any way. So not disastrous for Dudek and Madsen.
Yep. Let's hear from the winner, Emil Sayfutdinov. He's with Kiri.
Emil Sayfutdinov, congratulations. It is good to see you back here on the top spot.
Yeah, finally, it's won, it's Grand Prix again, and so I'm so happy, I just would like to say thanks to my family, my team, with Susi, Stanek, Goblin. It's so good for work today, it was a little bit hard, but in the final we changed the setup and it's gone, so I'm really happy, And of course, thank you very much to the crew, to the fans, my sponsors, tuner. So I'm really happy and yes, celebrate today.
Emil, huge smiles, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, nice words there.
Well deserved.
Yes.
Yeah, and let's just confirm the World Championship standings for you, by the way. This emphasises what I was talking about just a couple of moments ago. 3 riders on 47, Emil, Patrick and Leon. Then you have Bartosz Marslik and Martin Vasilik on 44. So the top 5 have only 3 points splitting them. And then you have Freddie Lindgren on 42. And it's the top 6, really, that have broken away.
They have.
After 4 rounds of the World Championship. There are still 6 rounds to go. Remember, Cardiff is on September the 21st, and that is the penultimate round of the series this year. Tickets on sale now. If you haven't got your tickets for Cardiff, make sure you do, because it really is going to be a fantastic night.
It could be pivotal in the championship chase, and the last 2 rounds, I'm sure, are going to have a massive say. This man, delighted to see him back on top of the box, and a superb performance. As you said, Nigel, he's a super nice guy. And he's a classy rider. We haven't seen the best of him in the last couple of years, but hey, he's had some serious injuries as well that probably have curtailed his progress. But a super night for him.
Here's the Russian national anthem. Great stuff from Emil Sayfutdinov and Martin Vasilik, and of course Maciej Janowski. Fantastic stuff. And it's presentation time as the boys are on the podium. Just a reminder, the Monster Energy FIM Speedway of Nations in a couple of weeks' time, and then the Grand Prix resumes in August in Wrocław, round 5, the halfway stage, and that is going to be a really exciting second part of the series.
Yeah, it will be
this year.
Yeah, Mick Bates there, the jury president, just coming forward to give Maciej Janowski his trophy for the evening. Fair trophy that, isn't it? Quite an unusual one with a sprocket and a chain, but he's been rock solid here in his last 2 performances. Martin Vasilik, good night from him.
Yes.
Really sharp on the starts tonight. And that's sent him through with a good bounce back after Prague, there's no doubt about that. And quite clearly he had issues and they've resolved those and has come out with a really strong performance.
There you go, the winner here in Halstavik tonight, punching the air with delight. Brilliant from Emil Sayfutdinov. Well deserved. Terrific display.
It was, and he has been so often not got through to the final, but tonight it was his. The move in the first corner was decisive, and we'll see some smashing shots now with the champagne and the selfie moments, moments to remember forever, of course. As I say, I'm sure somebody will let us know on Twitter when he won his last Grand Prix, because I can't remember, actually, off the top of my head, I can't remember. But irrespective of that, he's a winner tonight, and he'll be looking forward to going back to his home country to represent his country in the Speedway of Nations, of course. But the championship is really tight. 3 joint leaders, that's quite incredible. And the top 6 are broken away, so it's going to be really exciting when we move on to Poland in Wrocław in a month's time.
Yes, very much so. Really looking forward to that. So the sweet taste of success for these boys. And a good night in the end.
Enjoyed it in the end.
Yeah, I think so.
It was tough to begin with because with the sunshine it was really difficult to get the track right. But as soon as the sun started going down, the track developed, got more grip in it, and the racing improved dramatically. Disappointment, of course, for Dudek and Madsen, but they won't. They'll still sleep fairly soundly because they're still leading the championship. So, but riders like, I've got to say, Jason Doyle will be really disappointed tonight. Would have been looking for a much better performance on his home track in Sweden. But he'll have work to do in the second half. Freddie Lindgren, of course, will be a little disappointed not to have been on the rostrum this evening here in Sweden. But for that man, representing Russia, a genuine world-class performer, could it be his season? Just might be.
Wow. You just can't pick a world champion at the moment, can you?
It's a tough one.
We're not with any confidence at all. It's
a lot of people like Dudek, you know, and I fancy Smarslik, but as I say, Sayfutdinov has come from 10 points behind tonight, and that is a decisive move. And we've got to believe that if he stays out of trouble, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with moving forward. A lot of racing to come, though. Six rounds to come, so
yes,
still wide open.
Yeah, so we'll see how it develops then when we go to Wrocław. Of course, we have Tetro in Germany to come as well, and Melilla are back here in Sweden. Yeah, so it's going to be great.
Yeah, just had some information that Emil won 3 Grand Prix in 2013.
Yes.
So in 2009. He was 19, and he won the Swedish Grand Prix. So, yeah, it's been a while, so he's had to be very patient for his next Grand Prix win. And he will be very, very pleased with this indeed. And I think the team will be, because they've gone on. It's a barren spell, isn't it? Of course, he wasn't in the Grand Prix all the time since 2013, but he's had to wait some considerable time.
Go and get in the car. We're going to get to King's Lynn for Monday.
Okay, mate. I'll rev it up.
Yeah, and
I've enjoyed it though, Nigel.
Yeah, it's been a good night. And on to the Speedway of Nations, and
yes,
that's a real boost for the Speedway of Nations for the people in Russia.
Indeed, it is. Can't wait.
Enjoyed your company as ever, Kel. Thanks so much indeed. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time worldwide. Our British viewers will see you on Monday night at King's Lynn. Round 4 of the FIM World Speedway Championship returned to the Hallstavik track, the home of Ross Spigana, and the Norbil Swedish FIM Speedway Grand Prix. Ahead of the World Championship itself, there was Leon Madsen, top of the leaderboard, alongside Patrick Dudek, and they were really competitive early on, but then Leon Madsen went on a run of poor races and put his participation in the rest of the night in jeopardy. Freddie Lindgren slowly but surely edged away after a last place in his opening right and managed to get through into the semi-finals as the sun beamed down on the Hallstavik track. Emil Saifutinov showing signs of domination. He was magnificent with the 11 points out of 12 at his first 4 rides, and then a third place put him onto 12 points to get him through to the semi-finals in a good position, alongside Martin Vasilik with a good pick. Mati Zegar also looking good early on, the Slovenian, with 8 points out of 9 after being on holiday. And then there was a little bit of tough racing creeping in, and then that first semi-final we saw Max Frick really work the track brilliantly. He's a Ross Spigana rider, he knows where he's going in this circuit, and the Australian was brilliant as he charged up the inside to get the better of Martin Vasilik and take the checkered flag. So Max Frick into the final alongside Martin Vasilik. Semi-final 2, Matt Sayanovsky and Emil Saifutinov. They were the boys that made it through, ahead of Zegar and Iverson, who crashed out of the race. And then in the final, well, Emil Saifutinov, magnificent. He was given the final gate pick. It was no pick because he was given gate 4, but he went high and into the dirt and he blasted his way around Martin Vasilik and Matt Sayanovsky with that move down the back straight. Absolutely stunning in his first Grand Prix win in a few years, and he's joint leader of the World Championship with Dudek and Madsen on 47 points apiece, and only 5 points separate the top 6 in the world. It's congratulations, Emil Saifutinov.